slog, 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 slogging over Africa. Foot, 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 slogging over Africa. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today. 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. Count the bullets in the bandoliers. If your eyes drop, they will get atop of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. We can stick out hunger, thirst, and weariness, but not the chronic sight of them. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Ain't so bad by day because of company, but night brings long strings of 40,000 million. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. I have marched 6 weeks in hell and certify it is not fire, devil's dark, or anything but boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh, my God, keep me from going lunatic. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war.
Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. How was that opening intro?
That was eerie.
Very eerie.
Very much so.
I was keeping the spirit of the original trailer because that trailer was very eerie as well. Just try to do my best not to show the monster.
Well, of course. And that trailer for Alien, like, still timeless. Excuse me, timeless and resonant to this day because of how eerie it was. It captured not only horror but terror as well.
And the trailer didn't show the monster; it just gave us that essence of fear and scary and curiosity. What is coming out of that egg?
More on that later. More on that later. Pretty soon. But yes, tonight, everybody, we are talking about the Alien franchise. Well, minus a few of the movies because fuck Ridley Scott and his later movies. I'm gonna get into that.
Man.
I'm still on my fucking fuck Ridley Scott boner. Okay, that shit is never gonna go down. It's never gonna go flaccid. I'm sorry. It's gonna stick there. Well, this fucker had the nerve to ask this fucking question in an interview about what the fuck he did with Napoleon and what he did with Gladiator 2, asking people, "Were you there, bitch? You weren't there either. So doesn't that disqualify you to direct those movies?" You pedantic, malformed mouth piece of shit.
Well, not to mention like Daniel Bannon, H.R. Giger, and countless others helped expand the lore more of Alien, as well as through the novels, the games, as well as the comics. They did more for the franchise than Scott like ever did, especially with when he made Prometheus and Covenant, which ended up like hurting the lore.
Oh, it really shined a spotlight on who was
Yes.
really the wheel man of the first Alien movie. It wasn't fucking Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott was just the director, okay? He may have the director's seat, he may have the director name. There was Dan O'Bannon, the true writer of this franchise, the true writer of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Believe you and me, it was all Dan O'Bannon's work. The reason why Alien got good at was just as good as it was. Ridley Scott only helped. But look, like I said, you can easily tell the difference, complete difference. It's night and fucking day, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way how Bannon wrote the characters versus how Ridley wrote the characters later on, it is fucking night and day. That was an eye opener with Prometheus,
Mm-hmm.
and even a bigger eye opener with Covenant.
I don't know if it's just me, but the more I'm looking at this poster right here with the egg, just from the light of it, it's just I don't know if it's just me that it's looking like some kind of moon when it's supposed to be an egg.
It was a moon. If you watch the original trailer, they present it like a moon until they zoom
Hmm.
out and it's a chicken egg, and then it
Yeah.
cracks open. I got the damn trailer. I could blow that shit up for you so you can you. I keep forgetting that you are very young. You're pretty much a hatchling when it comes to these movies back in the days. Final. So for a treat, I'll show you the trailer, the original Alien trailer.
That was
Because
the one
man,
that also had this audio that we heard earlier. Is that right?
no, the Boots was a poem written by the Jungle Book writer uh, Rudyard Kipling,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that was recited by it was recited by I forgot the name of the guy, but he recited in his voice. He did a really good job of elevating the poem. Fun fact: that's actually a punishment for for trainees in the military, specifically the Canadian military.
Oh,
Hearing that
really?
recording, from what I heard, that's
Wow.
secondhand information. I don't know if that's true or not.
Mm.
I also think
Because just from
that
the
our American
audio, it's just
military
like
does that too.
I thought it was just like a part of the trailer. It's like I noticed that when he was going through this, it starts getting louder and louder and louder, and then he starts screaming like he's going insane and something like holy shit.
Mm-mm.
That's what I'm saying, Buddy Smith. Motherfucker cock blocked Blonde Con from doing Alien 5. I'm still I'm sorry, I will never forgive him for that shit. Never. I don't give actually at this point I don't give a damn what Blanca would have done with the Alien franchise or I mean, the Alien movie or whatever he wanted to do. It would be leagues better than what the fuck really did. Just admit to the world really that you just want a fucking android.
You, you know, like, see, the thing with Alien, like after Aliens, it's like like Earth War, and everything else like in between. Like they should have been adapted like into into a series of films or a TV series. Because I'm sure
I
like
really love you
I mean,
guys.
much like with like Star Wars fans, because like the Alien fans and even the Predator fans like would love to see these work or like be adapted from page to big or small screen.
Real quick, I'm about to play the Alien teaser.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I remember that tagline in space, no one can hear you scream.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of funny how
Back
they
in the
how the screens come in and then it stops it, and then and then you see that tagline.
hmm This is back in the day when Hollywood knew how to do movie trailers. Because that's an effective trailer. It gives you just enough to whet your appetite to say, I got to find out what that's about.
This was made around the time when we had movies like so far E.T. and I believe The Thing, and we had a lot of Space Invaders as well. We This was around the time where we had Earth versus Flying Saucers, War of the Worlds, where they show where if you looked at trailers way back then, they showed the whole movie, the entire movie from beginning to end. That's how trailers were made way back when. And the only reason why they made it that way was because the concept of the movie theater was still fresh and new for everybody of that time. So if you ever saw the Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes trailer, they told you the whole movie from our current generation perspective. That's the whole movie. You don't need to see it. But for those of that generation back in them days, it was a spectacle, like a spectacle. Harry, come and get your popcorn, get your tickets, get your soft drink.
Mm-hmm.
Come see the Planet of the Apes. You know,
Yeah.
as if the Ticketmaster was the ringleader, the ringmaster. Excuse me, ringmaster. You know, so Dan O'Bannon and Rock came together, they wanted to make a brand new, fresh take on an alien species, and the idea I believe it had an original title before they decided to go with Alien. And the only reason why they went with Alien was because the word alien means unknown usually, or some version of unknown, mystery, and
Yeah.
you feel me.
Yeah.
They went
Which
through so
actually,
many concepts.
that's like who the xenomorphs are.
Well, Zero in concept wasn't there just yet. They had an alien design too, and I remember in our conversation back in the Discord, I told you guys that both the Xenomorph and the Yautja, aka the Predator, were totally different creatures and product both respective movies. I've already shown you guys the Predator before,
Yeah,
a few of you,
I remember.
not, but there was original design for the Predator that wasn't gonna go over because it looked goofy. So Stan Winston had to be contacted to change that. In the case of the xenomorph wasn't the xenomorph just yet. It was going to be a chicken fetus, to be exact. In the original concept art, if you see any concept art floating around of what the chest burster was going to look like when it came out, it was a chicken fetus. Then they I don't know who approached H.R. Giger originally, but somebody during production approached H.R. Giger. I think it was really that toiled through Giger's art books, one of his art books, and happened upon Necronomicon number 5. And Necronomicon number 5, if you saw Necronomicon number 5, you'll instantly say that's the Xenomorph because yes, he picked Necronomicon number 5 for the Xenomorph design, and of course they enhanced that design by giving it the proper other designs. Of course, the suit was made, and it was played by a very lanky guy. Child, is that why Soylent Green spoils a twist in the trailer? Yes, because again at the time the trailers of the 40s and even before then they told you the whole movie because that was supposed to get you to go see the movie. That was their marketing style way back then. Here again, going. I'm all over the place. But I'm gonna try to get back on track, but I'm all over the place. Bear with me, guys. It's been quite a day. Um, when Alien was being produced, they tried their best to make sure that the xenomorph stays hidden completely. Everybody did not know what the alien was going to look like, not even the actors themselves. Sigourney Weaver, Yafet, Veronica Cartwright, uh, um, Ian Holm, and hell, even John Hurt didn't know what the xenomorph was going to look like, especially in the scene with the chest burster scene. And fun fact, Veronica Cartwright fainted on the set of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about that. Yeah.
If anybody who saw the chest burster scene and you hear her go, "I got," that's her fainting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which all of which enhance the experience, not only the experience in the making of the movie, but also like that one of the most iconic moments from Alien.
It is. It's
It's
Yeah.
also very dubious. Very. Let put you like this. Really, Scott, he's made some great movies. He made some very great movies, but there has been stories surfacing about his method directing, especially the clusterfuck that was the Abyss, that ended up becoming an amazing movie in the end. But Jesus Christ, what that dude put that crew through to get some of those shots, some of those scenes, or even getting that movie made. Period. Wait, no, that was Cameron. Not really. Oh, he's another one. Fuck him too. These days, I'm just saying, fuck you to my heroes, and Cameron's one of them. He on the chopping block too, but I digress. But yeah, y'all want me to go dig into some of the stuff that he did behind the scenes, really during the production of Alien?
Yeah,
uh,
So, you may not saw this scene in the theatrical cut or the theatrical release of Alien, but there's an
but in the
extended.
director's cut,
Yeah, if you had the director's cut, and there's an extended scene of the scene where they're removing the spacesuit off of oh, what's his name?
I forgot too.
Why am I blanking on John Hurt's character's name?
Uh,
Kane. When they were removing
Kane.
the spacesuit off his Kane after he got face hugged.
Yeah. There
I'll
was a
stop
fight
distracting me.
between Sigourney Weaver and
and
shit.
and Veronica Cartwright.
Yeah.
There was no that was no fight. It almost broke into a fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It wasn't gonna be a fight, but it almost did because this motherfucker had the nerve just for the scene to get to have its authenticity. Spread rumors between these broads. Just getting them riled up. Get them all hot and bothered and stuff, right? And no sooner when they did the scene, Veronica comes up to Sigourney and just slaps the dog shit out of her, and they were about ready to throw down.
Yeah.
And they had to pull them away. But but somehow they were able to manage to stay in character in that moment. But she wasn't.
yeah, I heard about that.
Veronica wasn't supposed to slap Sigourney for real, but she ends up doing it. And if you saw that scene, you can hear it.
I heard about that. Yeah.
It was actually a deleted scene in this movie until it actually got added in the director's cut.
We got Darth Vader back. He's back out. We're
Alright,
talking
thank
about
goodness.
welcome back, Dark. But also, it's more apt to say, like that scene was reinserted back in when the director's cut was released.
We're
Yeah.
talking about the slap. To catch you up, Darth.
The who?
We're talking about the slap.
The slap.
The Sigourney.
Yeah, the cut slap from
Yes.
Veronica Cartwright on Ellen Ripley when she's walking the med bay and she's like, "You bitch! You how dare you!" Like, it's procedure for a reason. No, it's not. It's immoral. Yeah, and then like how much time? Like about 20 minutes later. Oh, procedure. Should have followed it.
Yeah, she slept up for real. Yeah, I heard about that.
All right, I
Someone
will,
was
man,
discussing that.
I will give that woman the utmost praise. That lady can play hysterical really well. I don't know if she was in theater prior to being in movies because I saw her again in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Jesus Christ,
Hmm.
she
Yeah,
was
she was.
very versatile in that movie too.
Hmm.
Especially at the end. I'm not gonna spoil the ending though. We gotta talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers one day. We definitely
Oh
gotta
yeah.
talk about Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And final, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but you gotta check out Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh,
It's a timeless classic, but also it's still relevant to this day.
It is very haunting, more so than the '90s remake of it, which is
And there
called
was a
Body.
remake. There was a remake in the 70s, I think, with Donald Sutherland
Yeah,
and Goldblum.
Oh,
Yes.
I was watching the remake.
Yeah, the original was like
Yes.
in the 50s.
yeah, the
Yeah.
50s.
I gotta watch that
Hmm.
down.
Yeah, the 50s is the original one. The one in the 70s with Donald Sutherland is a remake. But it's still
I
very
thought that was the original.
but
Jesus
it's
I mean,
Christ.
still
it's just no, but it's just as classic as the original version of the Body Snatchers from the 50s.
No,
yes.
I got to redeem myself. I fucked up.
But however, we gotta get this back on track because in the future we will talk about not just the original 50s Body Snatchers, but also the 70s, even the 90s Body Snatchers movie.
There've been several remakes.
AKA my favorite. But yeah, just let's go into how we came upon this movie, shall we? The first movie.
Okay.
Shall I start?
go ahead.
Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's one of those moments again that, you know, growing up in the late '80s and growing up in the early '90s, you tend to come off the tail end of what was released recently rather than what was released at the time. So knowing me, being born in '87, I happened upon Aliens before I watched Alien. So Aliens was my gateway, and I have fun with Aliens. But oh boy, Alien was a whole different beast. And the sad part about it was I watched that during the daytime, and I was still spooked after what I watched. And I watched that with my cousin who was a baby at the time. I was about 6 years old, I believe. I think I was six at the time. I still was spooked when I was done. Hell, Alien 3 also spooked me too, because obviously Alien 3 went back to the more horror roots than the action horror that was Alien. And then this franchise bounces back and forth between those genres. Did you guys notice that?
Well, 3 tried to redirect back to what made Alien work, but and also put a close to it because that was probably smart. But
Hmm.
then everything onward just kind of goes with the Aliens formula.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the sad truth that it's the only thing that works after Aliens because when you have like uh again basic bitch like pistol ammo or anything and you're able to just take one of those down and it's oh well, you're not
Well,
so
the pistol
scared.
barely does anything. It only like slows them down. Like you really
It can
do
just
need a
pistol
bigger
shoot you.
weapon. I mean, if you aim at the right spots, which is only the head, yeah, we'll go down. But like, if you really want to take them things down, you gotta freaking eviscerate them. And even then, it's like that's not even advisable. But let's go into detail of the xenomorph. Oh no, actually no. Leia, your impressions when you first watched the first Alien.
The first Alien movie I did not see in theaters because I was still too young to remind people, but I was still too young to see it. So I never saw it in the theater. I saw it like everybody else of my generation on an afternoon on HBO. And right, not too long before the sequel was coming out. So I said, before I see a sequel, I hope I get to see the first one because I remember people talking about it, giving it high praise. Everybody in my school wearing shirts with this picture on front of it. I don't know if you'll remember, but that back then, movie posters were like shirts, and everybody was wearing it, and they were talking about it. But I didn't get a chance to see it. So finally I got my chance from good old HBO back in the day when movies come to HBO and you finally get to check it out. And I said to myself, I can see why this movie was such a mega hit. Perfect formula. A horror movie in outer space, sci-fi outer space. It's like Halloween, except this time Michael Myers is a xenomorph.
You know,
So
here's what's funny though. If you watch that movie on HBO, not only were you also getting the director's cut, but you also got the egg scene in that.
oh yes, that's one thing I was anxious to talk about. Everybody talked about the egg scene and the stomach bursting alien out of the stomach thing.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a myth. There's like even if you get the director's cut, sometimes you are still missing footage, and surprisingly on cable, they add an extra scene that not many people have seen or know about. And the reason why I call it the egg scene is because it deals with eggs again. It's a scene where while Ripley was trying to get off the ship while it's about to detonate and self destruct, she runs into Dallas. Because if you guys see the Dallas scene, we don't see what happened to Dallas.
Right.
Well, the other guy
and Bert.
Bert.
Brett.
Yeah, Brett.
Yeah, Brett gets snared first. We don't see him ever again. We don't see no blood, none of that. Same thing with Dallas, no blood, none of that. And then when Ripley is trying to escape, she happens upon gooey decorations all over the wall, and when she follows it, she finds both Brett and Dallas being reconfigured biologically into the xenomorph egg. And in one shot, you see Brett already close in the process of being completed. You only see like what's left of his face being formed into the eggshell, and you see Dallas still in the process and still alive,
and does the iconic before the iconic thing that became 2. Please kill me.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a very distorted sound too.
Yeah, I remember seeing that scene you just described. Yep. I did see this. I didn't know because I didn't see it in the theater. That was my first time seeing it. So I'm thinking that this was a theatrical showing. But the scene you just described, I do remember watching that. Yeah, the scene you just described, Wolf, I do remember seeing it, but because I didn't see it theatrically, I took this as I did not know that was a added on scene until many, many years later, as time went on. I realized, that was not in the theatrical showing, but I didn't know that at the time when I was watching it for the first time. So I took it as the actual part of the movie. And the reason I talked about the egg, because when this movie was being made, they revealed the special effects and what they used. And didn't they use like animal body parts or animal heart or something? Am I getting it? Did anybody hear about that?
Or what?
Well, it's the first opening. It's the scene where John Hurt's character goes to the egg and the egg opens. and you hear like heart. It looks like something is beating inside or something, like it's a heart or something. And that's when the alien jumps on John Hurt's face. I remember hearing something about that. I've got to, I'm not sure, but it's something about to make it realistic looking.
I
They
don't even
used
know
a
who I
lamb's
show
heart,
this. My
or
stomach already churning looking at this.
a lamb's heart or something. I'm serious. I heard something about this because the special effects at that time blew everybody away. Especially, you all know the scene where he goes and he investigates the alien egg, and the one jumps on it. The xenomorph jumps on his face and locks in on him, and
Well,
then
it jumps on his helmet first, and then from what you see of the helmet, it looks like it melted through the
right,
glass parts,
Yeah.
thick glass, mind
right,
you,
Mhm.
got
right,
on his face somehow.
right, exactly. I remember hearing something about when they were shooting that scene that they used either a lamb's heart or an animal's heart. I could be wrong, but something was used in that scene
They
to make
use
it look
animal
and
meat
be
for the once you see inside of it before the
right,
membrane pulls in and the face hugger jumps out before
right,
the
the
face
face,
hugger jumps out. I'm gonna.
right,
They just
I got
wanted
I
to
got
use whatever
screenshots.
made it look fleshy and moist, because the a lot of the it has a lot of analogies to fallacies and stuff, phallic region.
oh, did I know
Yeah,
that?
they wanted to make certain. I mean, the face hugger puts a thing down your throat and impregnate. It's very sexual aspect
Face
to the scene.
raping,
Yeah,
chest raping, all just all kinds of all kinds of reaping.
And one thing while we're still talking about that scene, the one thing that while we were watching this movie on Discord,
you're welcome.
that when they got into the ship and they found all the eggs, I did like how the ship itself looked so organic in there.
Yeah, it looks like a what you call it?
Techno organic.
Yeah,
Not that just it looked like a womb.
Right. Well,
yeah.
which actually reflects like who the space jockeys are, because like their technology is organic based, and which gives the impression and eventually reveal in later expanded material that they've grown these ships and otherwise.
I try and steer weird away from the quote unquote expand material, because that's always in question on how valid or cannibal that is, and it's always like taken with a pinch of salt, but best probably just to stick to the movies.
And please stick to the movies. We'll talk about those some other time. You're getting us. You, we're
Okay.
speed bumping with those.
At least, at least the organic technology and how the space jockeys like were established from the first movie is better than what would really did with the franchise starting with Prometheus.
Yes, I do remember seeing this scene when I saw it on HBO, and to finish
Yeah,
me up really, yeah, to finish it up really quickly, if you want to go to other people, I loved it and could see why this was a sci-fi classic. I said, wow. And then after I saw it, I watched it 2 years before the sequel came out. So I was ready for the sequel after seeing this first one on cable because
Dark.
I'm like,
You are next.
wow.
Go ahead. Talk about your experience of the original movie.
Pretty much HBO or video rental. I saw the first one first, and then three, then Aliens.
God
Zintai.
bless you.
Yes, that's you.
My mute button is
Um,
not fast enough. I'm trying to mute myself so you don't hear me sneeze.
Oh, no, nonetheless, it's inside.
but yeah, that's how I saw it. I watched it when I was young. Watched a lot of things then, like The Thing and all that, and that was just like candy for me. And I just loved the good stuff. It was just exciting,
Yeah, I hear
scary
you.
but fun.
I saw the thing when I was 14.
Mm.
That's
That's-
very
Go
very
on.
quickly. I don't want to interrupt. I just want to say that year of The Thing, and then after Alien, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the year of E.T. The extraterrestrial
Yeah.
ET, and that was at a time when most of the alien movies were kind of scary. The aliens were coming down to eat us and kill us or slap our brains or whatever. And here, Steven Spielberg gave us a movie about an alien who was friendly.
Yeah,
So they're
fuck him for
great
that.
times back then. What? I
Can't
think
stand
ET.
Steven Spielberg's E.T. anymore. Fuck that movie.
Why? Why? May I ask?
The
It's a classic.
motherfucker keeps freaking updating and self-correcting. I can't even watch that
Okay.
movie. I can't even watch that movie now.
Well,
All right. All right. I'll
here's a
give you
solution.
that.
Well, here's a solution, Wolf.
Motherfucker,
Watch the original.
Yeah, the original is much better. I'll give you that,
oh,
Wolf.
I've seen the original multiple times, and I want to own the original. Now I can't. Because I'm gonna run the risk of getting the new version, which is they replace the fucking guns with the damn walkie-talkies.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
I thought
I'm
he
lucky
changed
to
that
have,
back.
to have actually. I'm lucky to
I
have watched the
fucking
original
did.
I'm lucky to have watched the original ET where the guns like were kept instead of replaced, which this day is completely unnecessary.
I agree. I think he took. You're not the only one, Wolf. Everybody gave him a lot of heat for that, and I don't. And I don't blame you one bit. I thought that was stupid. So
I
I
don't even
agree
like
with
the
you.
CGI shit that's sprinkled in some of the parts of the movie because that shit clashes with the puppetry.
Hmm.
No. Et looks like he needs to be stiff. He needs to move like he was stiff. He's an
Especially
alien,
his finger. Giggity.
right?
Right.
I'm just saying, like I'm used to stiff ET because he's an alien and that's his biology to me.
Now,
Motherfucker
now
moving all
to Spielberg's
shit. I'm like, uh.
I'm just loving this. We're
now
talking now
now
about
to
a alien ball
Spielberg's
sack and
credit.
how he needs to be stiff.
Oh God.
Look,
And,
look.
and
To
the reason why
Spielberg's credit, as Buddy pointed out, the guy actually went back and corrected like his mistake, and now the original is being sold in
and
stores and not the edit.
to close off on this, you wanna what you wanna know another reason why I say fuck ET?
Go ahead, Wolf.
Because motherfucking Roger Ebert trashed the thing over ET. So fuck that movie.
Well, at the
Yeah,
time they didn't
even in
get.
the
They
grave,
did.
I got hate boner towards Roger Ebert because that motherfucker. Mm-mm,
Yes, he did
mm-mm.
trash the thing. It did not get good reviews when it came out.
Like if you if you want to see gore and go watch the thing. But we are here to watch ET because it's family friendly. Like man, fuck off with that shit. Kiss my ass on that one, Roger Ebert. Rest your soul, mind you, but damn, like you had some weird ass takes for sure.
You don't want to see his review of the Power Rangers. He lived long enough to review that, Wolf. I don't think. I
I've
hope
seen
you
a lot of
never.
his reviews. Fuck him for coming down Mimic too. I love Mimic.
Right? Which someday we need to cover that movie as well. But to get back
But
to
back to
Alien,
Alien.
Though I would
Alien,
like
like the
to watch Beyond the Valley of Dolls and trash that shit. That shit was fucking hilarious when I watched that as a 6-year-old. Y'all continue.
well, to get back to Aliens
Yes.
to close off this side tangent. What can we appreciate is because there was actually build up to the
Oh
eventual reveal of
wait.
the
I got another one. Didn't he also trash Alien?
Who?
I
Roger
don't
Ebert.
think
He trashed a lot of good things.
he
But
trashed a
I'm
lot
just
of good
saying
movies.
specifically,
Yeah.
didn't he also trash Alien?
I don't
I
remember.
believe so.
He had a weird way of critiquing it too. I forgot what it
He
was.
also
But I was
hated
like,
the thing as well, but
Which
yeah, I just
we already
brought that
mentioned
up.
that.
Is the reason why I fucking hate ET now. Because ET may be fun for children, but it's shit to adults. Well, shit to me as an adult.
just watch Strange Invaders instead.
or what's that one? What's that one movie with the mastermind brain with them big fuck all mouth motherfuckers? Third Kind.
You mean Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
No, that's Spielberg. That's another Spielberg work. I like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm talking about the Third Kind.
Invaders from Mars.
Yeah, Invaders from Mars. Watch that
Or
shit. That shit's amazing.
or,
That shit's
or Mars,
The
amazing.
original.
or Mars Attacks.
I'm a little iffy on Mars Attacks.
But Invaders from Mars, I recommend it as well.
Yeah, we need to watch that one day and talk about that one. That watch that as a dog. I was like, bro, nobody told me this was a fucking original it before it was a thing. Anyways, so what can we say? Who's next? Final. Your first encounter with watching Alien the movie.
My very first encounter with that was because of you ever heard of a YouTube channel called Cinefix?
Yeah.
My first encounter with this was there's a series on there called Homemade Movies, and my first encounter with that was when they made the homemade scene of the chestburster scene from the first movie. And that's how I encountered that. I was just like, oh god. That was my encounter with that. And right when we were watching this movie, again on Discord, for this stream, I was like, oh shit, I know what's coming up, because I remember that scene so vividly.
You also watched the sequel as well with us.
The sequel, uh, only f- I've only heard of the sequel right as I've heard about Alien and seeing how this was actually a much more of a phenomenon, and then I see how much popular it was thanks to the Alien's guest appearance in Mortal Kombat X, thanks to the Predator.
They both were in there
Yeah.
together. But it was even more popular due to the games that came out, like the arcade games and the SNES games. Most of the mostly Super Nintendo games. They got they got very popular. And it also helped thanks to Kenner with the Kenner toys.
Mm.
One of those Kenner toys, like the Alien Queen that has bat wings for some reason. Yeah, that was a thing. But one thing I will say is the first two movies were heavily constructed really well to the extent where you miss dynamics between crew. I'll give you an example. When you look at the crew of the Nostromo, you can tell they have more of a working relationship with each other, but there is also a clique with amongst them. If you notice that they really mold the characters to be who the hell is typing?
That was me. Sorry.
Girl, what are you talking? What you typing? A diary? An
No.
autobiography?
I was looking. I'm sorry. Looking at my. I told you I was looking at my lessons plans a little bit. I was
Reenacting
changing
diary
stuff.
of a mad black woman again.
No.
Do you hear
No.
that?
No. It was my outline for my subject for my teaching. I was just updating something. That's all.
No,
No mad black woman here.
I'm bragging on you.
I know.
But if you look at their work dynamic, both Brett and Parker's relationship, they're more of a friend relationship.
Yeah.
Ripley and Lambert, they have a working relationship, but at the same time they're gonna be women. They're gonna be women.
Yeah.
The little scene between those two that talks about Dallas in such a way.
Well, I thought Dallas and Ripley had a little thing for each other.
No, they had a fling. They're not really lovers. They're more of a fling.
Okay.
It was obviously Ripley having coochie cobwebs. She needed she needed some re-oiling in her machinery down there.
Oh my God.
They've
Oh
been
my
on
God.
they've been on this expedition for so many months now. You know, you're women. You get hot and you get bothered, and when you get hot and you get bothered, I want you to call me. Don't ask no questions.
In other
Hey,
words, she
that's
needs
what
a
I'm calling
release.
it, child. Child, that's all. That's what I'm calling it.
Man, but did you have to explain it so crudely?
But you spill that bit where Yafet says, "I know what I would rather be eating," and looking at Veronica's character, seeing her blush. But yeah, they're hell. Even the way how the crew reacts towards Ash. You know, n- it's obvious and very clear. Much of the Nostromo crew tolerate Ash. They don't really hate him, but they tolerate him.
Well,
Because for the
that's
most
because
part,
they kind of briefly touched on he's like a new assign
that's
over
what I'm
some other
saying. I was about
guy.
to bring that up. I was about to bring that up. Like he just got added on. He's the plus one. So of course they're gonna watch him. Keep their eye on him because he's new.
But
Plus
not
he's a
just new, he was specifically put in there by company order, which really means he's a company guy, and that makes people always uncomfortable.
in other words, I was about to say he's a Wayland Utani stooge. Now, of course, we also have to touch upon Wayland Utani, the shadow corporation that's housing some very nefarious motives.
Well, you mean just Wayland, because at that time he was just Wayland, and then it became Wayland Utani by two.
Right. See, this is why we need you, Dark. Dark. You always catch up on the details.
Hmm.
But yeah, they were employed by Wayland, and they've been trying to get back to Earth so they can get some R&R. You know,
Mm-hmm.
stretch their legs, but the company forces them to go on this expedition to locate the distress call.
We hear a
They call it
microwave.
distress call. Leia,
What? I'm not doing anything.
We just heard a microwave, but I
Wasn't
don't think it
me.
was. Oh yeah, that wasn't from Leia. It must have been from who was it that set off the microwave?
Yeah.
No, no. Well, it's not Way. I thought I muted myself.
Oh, it was Dom. Yeah. Was it me that?
I'm gonna laugh
Okay.
my ass off. I can hear your fucking stomach growl too.
Well, you
Eh.
gotta.
Well, there's your lamb meat and stuff, Leia. He's heating it up now.
What? Oh no! Goodness. See, I knew somebody was was going to stick it in there. Well, as long as it doesn't burst out his stomach, Dom's going to be just fine.
Chest buster, not a stomach buster, a chest buster.
Chest buster.
Like in fact, the cutscene where Ripley asked Veronica's character if Ash had slept with, and it was supposed to be a tip, shit, a tip of them being suspicious of him when he never did. That's another thing that the movie also kept hidden really well. Ash being an android.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which at that time nobody saw it coming.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming to myself, but what's funny was I should have known better. Remember, I was a kid. I saw aliens first, Bishop. But when it was real that Ash was an android, still surprised.
And also, fun fact about Ash: right when he started to malfunction and his blood started spilling over, that blood was milk, and it smelled there. And every time, whenever they kept doing that scene, he had to keep cleaning himself up from that due to how horrible it smelled.
Don't blame him.
Don't blame him either. I can understand that.
And
That
probably
is
imagining
understandable.
having to clean up the set from how much milk has been spilled on there.
Yes.
Chunky.
I always knew what milk when I was a kid.
I was
That's
surprised he was an alien. I mean, not an alien,
Android.
an
An android,
android.
yeah.
That did surprise me. At first, I should have been suspicious because he seemed to be so interested in the alien. But I don't know. I guess I just didn't take it as that he was not human. That was a real surprise.
Which, of course, well, like, is about the fact that Ash is supposed to malfunction and become more interested in the xenomorph rather than the concern and well-being of the of the Nostromo crew.
Right.
It caused like Ripley to develop like her initial like distrust towards the androids until Bishop changed her mind and realized that not all androids are Ash.
Right. You can understand her. Yeah. Her apprehension of being around an android after what she experienced.
plus Bishop was a an advanced version, or at least a less twitchy version.
But he's still like an advanced android all the same. Whereas with Ash, he's from an old model generation.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting that when it comes to the androids, like the only one that's really almost like Ash is I just forgot her name. Winona Ryder's character, who
Cow.
Cal,
Cal.
because those two really you blend in. They don't. They're androids, and Cal even admits, yeah, I'm an android, but still doesn't act like an android. That's one of the things that always got me was Bishop onwards, and even with the Prometheus and Covenant film, like
David.
they're imitating.
David.
Yeah, David and the other one in
Walter.
Covenant, they're imitating.
Walter.
They really don't hide that they're android. You can just tell it, even when people don't know it. They just really come off
Rumble's here.
very
Oh, yeah.
machine-like.
Yeah, with Cal, she's more human. And she's more human than Ash.
Well, no, even Ash. I mean, it depends on their area. I mean, Cal had to work with pretty much mercs, pirates, so she kind of blended in with that. And Ash, she just blended in with space truckers, just as a science officer. But nobody would suspect he was an android.
David is Ripley's self-insert.
He means Ridley.
Oh,
So which one did the
but-
fingering and blowing? Or did he do both his fingering and blowing?
oh my God.
Right.
I will say
Really?
that
Well, thank you for the correction, buddy.
Speaking of fingering and blowing, I hear a vibrator or something.
I'm hearing
Alright.
something. It's loud.
It's
Yeah.
Humble.
it
I'm
must
hearing it too.
Humble's it must be Humble's air conditioner.
Again.
Is
Humble,
it
how'd you
going
come
deep
from the Alien
enough?
franchise?
Hmm?
We
How'd
hear
you
your
come
air
from the
conditioner.
Oh,
Humble, how'd you come upon the Alien franchise?
pop culture references.
Oh Jesus! So you saw the Fruit Loops commercial that imitated Alien.
Or the Newgrounds video that was done by the guy who did the animation Tar Boy. And it was to get the cure for the chest burster not burst out of the pregnant belly, she had to operate a claw machine.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So you have not seen any of the Alien films? I
might have-
assume.
You could say that. I might have come across them when they were late at night and I wasn't supposed to be watching TV.
Fair enough. We'll work with that.
I will say this about the cast of the first film. That is a very diverse cast, and I say that because there's just some people in this world who believe that diversity has never been in films. Well, there you had it right there.
Yeah,
It's
they're
when
more than just
diversity becomes
a.
an obsession that it gets weird.
They're diverse in the fact that they're all they're all assigned a task. Both Parker
Brett.
and Brett were engineers, the engineers, the only engineers, and they were good at their jobs, very very good at their jobs. They were very always concerned with getting the job done too, and getting paid while doing it. So you know you could be forgiving of them for also wanting to do the job too of going to the distress call when it or at least staying on the Nostromo because Ash told them that Weather will pay them extra handsomely. You know,
That's true.
Well, no, I don't think. I think they assumed that they'd get a share.
right?
I mean, no, wait. Oh, right, right. Yes, by legal right, you all get a share of any bounty found. But what really made Parker fall in line with it was because he was kind of against it because they were already long out from home and they were hoping to be home. And when Dallas had Ash pretty much tell him straight out, like, refusal to follow order forfeits all, yeah, all revenue and all that. So that means they'd lose all their pay for the job as well as any share of the bounty.
Rana's character is a male to female transgender.
Right. Lambert is meant to be a transgender in the film.
Well, in this case, a transsexual until they decided, nah.
I mean, I don't know. I
You
don't
know,
know.
I never really pay attention to that.
I
Are we?
never saw that.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
Yeah,
I
I
ain't
never saw
buying
it
that.
either.
Me
I
neither.
It's kind of like J.K. Rowling adding that there was lack of bathrooms in Hogwarts.
I would assume that it came up in the director's cut.
Uh,
Hidden text
I,
that you blink once and you'll miss it. Maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's
I don't
probably
think
just
so.
headcanon because I never saw
Yeah,
that.
that's
That
what.
never was a thing. The
Eh,
only sexual thing when it came to Lambert was the ever ambiguous scene. You don't see it, but you just see a leg, which isn't her leg, of course, but it's supposed to be the character's leg, and after
Oh yeah.
she's dead, and strangely, she's dangling, but she's got no clothes, no pants, no shoes, and you're like, what? What did the
What
thing
happened?
for?
I just always assumed that she just got mutilated when that happened.
Maybe split her down the middle upwards.
Whew.
Um,
Well, that still doesn't explain the clothes and the shoes being gone.
Nonetheless, it's still a brutal way to go.
Maybe he
And
did
what
it
you
afterward.
hear is when Ripley is running through those halls. Well, and all you hear is that sound. You can't if she's panicking or if it sounds kind of rapey. I don't know. Nobody knows, but there was something happened.
Uh, it's an added bonus feature in Aliens. That's right. Well, Blade Smith confirmed it. She's transgender. That's not a problem.
Who is transgender?
Yep,
Lambert.
Lambert.
The other female in the crew.
Tra- Yeah, but
I
it's transsexual, not really transgender. But that's beside the point.
okay. I was like, what are they talking about? Trans? What is? I mean, I can believe it. She looked kind of lesbo to me, but I didn't think that was a big deal at the time.
Okay, well then the question comes: if they wrote that, was that intentional thing or just whatever thrown on there, or this was supposed to be like '80s idea future? So what would transsexual be in the '80s?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Not
I
wrong.
gotta, I gotta look. I own the aliens on physical media. I gotta look back at it again
I'm
and
not
read
gonna
that because I
spend too much time on it either, but
no, mm-mm,
yeah, that's just
I never
something.
noticed it. Yeah,
I'm not bothered by it too much
nah, mm-mm. It's just a
Yeah.
passing.
because it doesn't really hurt her character in the long run. It's not really
No,
drawing too much focus on it either. But I'm pretty sure those who probably saw that information secondhand will glom onto it instantly
mm-hmm.
and will decry and probably decry the movie for killing her off and not us and in a situation where she got spared and not Ripley. You know,
To be
they'll always
fair,
find a
at
way to.
least it's not like when they tried to make Babadook a LGBT icon.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they were trying to make the
It
Babadook a
was a
stand-in
Tumblr
for
thing.
LGBT. A creature, an ambiguous creature, a stand-in for gays.
So first movie aside, how about this sequel? The
I
big, always talked about one by James Cameron, fresh off
yeah,
the Terminator.
it's my
Well,
most it's my most watched out of all the movies because it was played nonstop, regardless. Like you, man, every 4 o'clock was Aliens night at this point. They
I
would play
believe it.
from me growing up at that time. I could have sworn I seen that movie about 5 fucking times. Every time I passed by a TV, every single time I passed by a TV, Aliens was on at some point. Either it was on Channel 11, on cable at a cousin or friend's house. I mean, any chance we got, we would watch Aliens because that was what can I say? It was a very fun movie, despite it being action heavy and light on the scares.
Hmm.
It's mostly jump scares central at that point. Really good jump scares though. I,
Effective jump
however,
scares.
do not like the director's cut version of that at all. Not
And how
because
would you describe the director's cut for Aliens?
unnecessary information. Too much information noise. Did not need to see what happened to Hadley's Hope. Did not need to see the turret section. None of that. Did not need that. That was unnecessary stuff. It's fun to look at the turret section mostly, not the Hadley's Hope section. That
I
right there.
I will kind of agree and disagree on that. There was one thing I was curious about. I was just kind of not happy they didn't follow through with it. Like, oh, we see the ship again, and this is how it all starts. Like, okay, so what are we doing with the ship? Does anybody bring this up? Like, did they destroy it? Like, think that destroying it would help, or why did nobody think? There's this alien ship. We should probably go there and check and see if there's any intel or anything when we come down to LV-426. Like, no, it's nothing. It's just the colony in the reactor. Like, so what
Right.
about the ship?
I just feel like it introduces Newt too early on, and I rather they keep her like this very big surprise. It just ruins the surprise of Newt for me, the
Hmm.
young girl, which funny enough, the actress who plays Newt never stayed in show business. Thank goodness for that. She became a teacher later on,
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't continue acting.
which is why they killed her. I think that's the reason why they killed her off in the third movie.
Which I did not like.
No, they just wanted to end things. I believe that was the point. They just wanted to end things, but
Michael
they
Biehn was not happy about that though.
And I don't blame him.
Daryl
I think
Hicks, for those who don't know, in the second movie, Daryl Hicks is Michael Bihn's character, aka the best alien character out of them all. Because I love, bro, Daryl
I
Hicks.
agree.
He might as well be a distant cousin to Kyle Reese because they both follow the same paths. I bet you if there was a Predator 3, Michael Biehn would have been in it too. I would like we missed a good chance to put Michael Biehn in a Predator movie like they did with Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton got killed by three sci-fi horror killing machines, an alien, a Predator, and a Terminator. And you mean to tell me you cannot put Michael Biehn in a Predator movie?
Yeah, now, buddy, I agree. The Aliens comic can't handle Nude better.
Yeah. Like I said, we're not gonna get straight into that. If y'all want more information about that, go check out Alien Theory. He covers the Alien War. Wow, can I talk right now? The Alien War series.
pretty much the Alien comics in general
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Alien
Pretty-
games, etc.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some new
And-
people in the comments. Who is this Slime Daddy Ladron?
No, he is a he's a YouTuber, but also a creator himself.
Ooh.
And also he's actually a mutual friend of mine and Ethereal Dragon.
Oh.
Welcome.
And Dancing Godzilla. And Dancing Godzilla, I've started seeing these guys before. Well, they they would mostly Ethereal. They would participate in England teams like I Love Comics channel.
Nice.
So we got some celebrities here. But no, where was I?
Michael Biehn.
Yeah, Michael Biehn was a very standout actor. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of disappeared for a while until he showed up in Planet Terror.
The Rock.
Ooh.
Yeah, right, The Rock. I forgot. I didn't watch The Rock, so you can forgive me for that one.
We'll forgive you.
He also showed up in some other stuff. He was in like what was that with Wesley Snipes, Arlington or
Wait,
I mean,
are you talking about? Oh, I know which one you're talking about, Dark.
It was the 2000s. Wesley Snipes and him played government agents.
Oh, wait.
Chinese
I know what you're talking about.
Rising Sun? No, not Rising
No.
Sun.
No, it's not Rising Sun, and it's also not the sequel to The Fugitive.
It was the name of the road along the White
Arlington
House
Road?
or something.
Was it just called Arlington Road?
No, child. It's not U.S. Marshals.
Recently, he was on The Walking Dead, not the spin-off show.
Did he?
Wait,
Yes. He was on there.
Art
just
of
recently.
War.
Art of War. Thank you. Yes, Art of War. Now, buddy, you did bring up that Neil Blomkamp. He was going to have Alien 3 and Resurrections be nightmares that Ripley was having, and if you ask me, I think it would have been like the better alternative rather than what ultimately happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, since we did the whole Val Kilmer thing, Wolf, Tombstone, why Johnny Ringo? You look like somebody walked over
I
your
love
grave.
Tombstone.
He played Johnny Ringo.
I need to rewatch Tombstone. I need to rewatch Tombstone. There's a lot of movies I need to rewatch, but that's one I need to rewatch. Now, Now we talked
What?
about the crew of the Nostromo. Do you guys want to touch on the crew before we move on to the Sulaco crew?
Yeah, we can.
For aliens, are we still talking about Aliens, the sequel?
We're
We
still
still
talking
on
about
that?
aliens, but do you guys want to touch up on a bit of the crew standing before you right now before I switch over to
Oh,
the crew
oh.
next?
Uh,
Any
I'm
guy
good.
you want to say anything about the crew? Nothing. No, nothing. Going once,
Space
done twice.
truckers, very down to earth. Can't do much better or worse than that.
A group of working
Adding on,
pilots, for sure.
adding on to that, well, adding on to Dark's point, they're also like very like down to earth, even though like they're in outer space. The characters that you actually get to know, and it tugs on your heartstrings when you eventually see them get taken out one by one by the xenomorph.
Yeah, and I was keeping that counter on there as the movie showed, because the movie showed there are about like 7 crew members on board, and I was keeping track of seeing like how many people are gonna be left, one by one, as it continued till the end.
And it also I don't think they were the first, but I could be wrong, but they did have like a tone shift between people in space, whereas before, mostly artificial, sterile, or uniform. I mean, yeah, you had Star Trek in space, and they were very down to earth at times, but at the same time, very uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just, space truckers. It's like they're in the
Yeah,
bar and the home at the same time in space.
Mm-hmm.
space truckers. That's a good word for them.
The
Mm.
Sulaco crew, I will always cherish a lot because James Cameron, again, for all his faults, he did a really wonderful job of constructing this entire crew through this cast, and having them going through basic training of military and getting to know each other, so that when you get the exact same dinner scene or breakfast scene like they did with the original crew, the Nostromo crew with the first movie, because he was hitting the original beats from the previous film just to ease us back in to Aliens. You know, you see a lot of the beats. You see a lot of the beats here in the second film, but the second film takes it a bit further as we go along. Like, say for instance, again, the dinner scene. They got the dinner scene out of the way. There's no chase. You almost have to expect there to be a chest burster scene in that dinner scene. Nope, not this time. The only time when we get a bit of a jump, which is Bishop revealing that he's an android. Now they also got that out of the way, that Bishop is an android. There's no ambiguity or any question. He's an android, and this time it's basically James Cameron trying to put our fears aside, because we're also in the exact same shoes as Ripley, because now Ripley, due to her experiences from the first movie, she's going through trauma, and she's also going through grievance,
Of course,
not grievance,
just besides
grief.
the they didn't have to spell it out that he was an android. We got that scene with the knife and how he was going with it. Like, oh, he's
Right.
definitely not human.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing but she's also going through grief. She in a hidden a deleted scene, which is now implemented in the director's cut as well. Um, Ripley's been adrift in space for how long, Dark?
I
75
believe they.
years.
5 years or
No,
75
no.
years?
62, 61. Oh, just a little over 60 years.
I thought
Yeah,
they said 70 plus years.
No.
could have been 70. It was a long time. Let's just go with that. A very long time. She's missed out a lot of people. A lot of people have come and go, especially her daughter, who you play in Alien Isolation.
57 years.
57
Okay.
years. I knew there was a 7.
Guess she didn't like the cornbread either. But no, yeah, it's kind of funny that I'm bringing up supplementary material as well, even though I'm also very adamant on avoiding it for this stream. But yeah, you do get to play her. We might bring up the games in passing, but we're not going to go deep into them. It's just the 4 movies that came before, and a little bit of Romulus. And I've seen
You
Romulus.
sure?
Shut up. But yeah, Amanda Ripley briefly shows up in Aliens if you have the director's cut, and they have the scene, of course, and of course you see Ripley break down because she sees a picture of her daughter who's very much old, but also that she has passed away.
And no
So,
children or anything.
no grandchildren, none of that. Speak of James Cameron with his thought experiment. I agree with you there, buddy. But with his thought experiment, he wanted to go with the theme of motherhood with this one, with the dynamic between Ripley and Newt. So she's
Hence, also why we get the mother character for the aliens as an opposite.
Right.
oh
And
yes,
it works very well in this film, and I love that.
the Alien
It's one of
Queen was a brand new addition. Originally, like I said in earlier ago, the cycle is very finicky and fickle. Just to drop it down right there, right now. The
Which-
alien cycle is
Go on.
very finicky and fickle on what it wants to be.
Which
Until the Queen
also
became a
goes
gold
to some
standard.
furious justification, if you will, about the goo that they do.
only
Because
Dark
how-
would catch that.
Oh no, I don't mean that.
No,
I
he's
mean
not talking about the black
ooze.
goo. He's talking about the goo that drools out of there. The drool.
The,
I know.
the
Yeah, that's-
Prometheus stuff.
Okay.
Oh, he is talking about that. Okay, go on,
Yeah.
Mark.
Because, well, if everything's taken into, not the expanded stuff, but everything movie-wise, and people take, the movie stuff into canon, and they turn humans into eggs or other living things into the new eggs, or then you got the queen stuff, and then the hybrid stuff, and everybody's like, well, the mutation aspect of the black goo just fits now. It's justification. It's not bad. It solidifies the lore that this is a very unique creature, but a very unstable in just how it keeps on changing in its environments and everything. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it
Keep
doesn't
telling
help
yourself
that I'm not going to go into it, but the expand materials do also play into that because they do, like I said, the expanded stuff, they just run with things. It's different, they're contradicting, they go with different styles, hybridizations, casts,
Oh no.
a lot of different things, biology, etc. Even
Right.
that latest game, Fire Team, you got the normal aliens, and you got these white alien variants, and
Yeah.
it's
The pathogen aliens, as they're
The
called.
pathogen aliens.
there is no one single alien now. It's like this varied mutant breed.
Stick to Alien
Yeah,
vs Predator 2010.
Yeah,
Right.
that too. It gets funky.
It is
Funky.
very.
Funky, yet the older expanded material are better than the new ones.
And now
And,
you wonder why I said fuck Ridley Scott. Because he started this bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And and they also justify it because each film goes different with the design. Like even Aliens from Alien, like in Aliens, they got these ridges and stuff like they're fucking Klingons or whatever.
Mhm.
They look
Bone
different, and
casings, more
yeah.
skeletal.
Whereas the first one looks more techno-organic but smoother, and then
Mhm.
3 has that kind of smoothness, but it's a little different in a way, not just because of the animal hybridization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's also because of the CG, then kind of a little funky. Then you got 4 with, uh,
very
trying to remember.
digital
Yeah.
ish. They're the first ones that kind of introduces the digital grade type of legs.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know,
Mhm.
dinosaur legs,
It's
chicken legs.
and people take that too seriously and say like this just proves that Ridley's a genius. Like the black goo just makes
Ridley
everything
is
make
not the
sense.
mastermind
No,
of
he's not.
Alien. It's Dan O'Bannon. It will always be Dan O'Bannon.
But
Mhm.
It sucks that he's dead. Unfortunately, it really is because I'm I'm quite sure that there was some back and forth between those two that kind of broke their working relationship. Him and Ridley.
probably was just
Yeah.
like with the Predator crew and the studio and stuff.
I'm s- I'm sure this is the reason why Ridley did this way. Anyways, probably just to spite him.
Mm.
Which is which is rather pity.
I
I mean,
cannot
not
say
not
that's
pity,
the
petty.
case. I will not say that is the case. However, do
I
not
know.
quote me on that. All I'm
But
saying is I'm speaking from the degree of vindictiveness towards him. I just don't like that man anymore.
Yeah, but we're going a bit too far ahead. So back to the Marines.
Yeah, the Colonial Marines was first introduced into Aliens. And sorry to burst everybody's bubble, but no, the Xenomorphs are not standing people or Koreans, for that matter.
Oh,
They're
wait,
aliens.
what?
They need to. Bro, where were you when they were doing that bullshit article about how the Xenomorphs are standing for black people or
Oh
black?
my gosh!
That
Wait,
was
hold
some
on.
dumb
When did
shit
this?
during.
I
I
When
think
did
it was
this happen?
2019. I think it was in
Oh
2019.
wait, oh yeah. No, I've seen those articles, and I not only rolled my eyes, but also laughed. Well, because that's just stupid. Because the xenomorphs are aliens,
My gosh, they decided to say that a
right?
monster was a human. God.
Right? And not only,
They think
like, by
for
making such,
minorities.
by making any statements like that, that speaks more of the people who wrote them.
That holds just as much water as how much they're trying to make orcs into minorities in fantasy books, especially Rings of Power and D&D 5th edition now.
Oh
oh
yeah.
no.
There, man.
Seriously?
Speaking of standing, let's go into Jeanette Goldstein, aka Vasquez, and how she got casted in this film
Mm,
as a Latina, though she's a
yeah,
white woman.
it's
I'm
the
not.
chick with the red bandana.
Yes, you're very astute. Good job. But no, uh, she originally thought that reading the title, she thought it was about illegal aliens, and she was going to dip out due to that. She thought she was going to play an illegal alien, but they had to pull her back and say, no, 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 it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. No, it's nothing like that. Nada. So she stuck around. She wasn't brown faced either. She had very fine tan skin. If you see her,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Not that
you,
anybody was looking at that specifically.
no, they were. They were looking at her guns, mostly her guns. You know
Yeah, of
which one,
course,
Dart.
Yeah.
of course, but focus, guys. Don't drool
But
over her.
but man, I'm gonna give Jeanette Goldstein the thank you, Dancer. She is definitely Jewish. So if anybody want to knock her, watch out. Anyways, props to Jeanette Goldstein for getting bulk and yoked for this role, because you gotta appreciate a woman that puts her all into her work. That woman, man, complete contrast to Ripley and any of the other
Uh-huh.
females on there, because she ain't the only female that was in that Marine Corps. You
No,
know,
she wasn't.
there was Frost and Daedric, who Frost was the one that got grabbed by the Xeno, or was she the pilot? No, Daedric was the one that got grabbed by the Xeno, and Frost was the pilot.
Yeah.
Right.
So Daedric was the redhead. Oh, rest her soul. She got nabbed first. It's always the redheads. Always.
A red herring, you could say.
You right? No, Frost. Frost was the black dude.
Yeah, he had the
Oh.
ammo.
Yeah. Yeah, Frost was one of the first of the Marines to get captured by the Xenomorphs.
No, Frost got torched.
Yeah, he got torched and fell down, and
Okay,
he
okay.
dropped a bag
Hang
of
on,
ammo.
hang on. I got this shit memorized. Okay, I watched this movie so many times. I know what happened to everybody. Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
saying anything because I'm just waiting.
So the redhead got nabbed by the Xeno. She burned Frost. Frost fell all over the railing. The ammo exploded. Killed what's his name? Killed one of their boys. Wachowski, I think that's his name. Wachowski got grabbed by a Xeno.
Yes.
You hear him screaming in the background when Hicks checks on the dead guy. Then Apone, the Sarge, gets grabbed by Xeno. Drake gets burned by the acid due to Vasquez blasting the Xeno near him. And there you have it. That's what happened to the crew.
Well,
Wait,
as a first
there's
act,
more.
there's still some that hang around before the movie ends.
Right.
You
But
still got the
Yes.
whatever they call that thing,
Spunkmeyer-
the flyer,
Spunk-
the drop thing.
Spunkmeyer gets killed by Xeno. Same with his
Yes,
co-pilot. She ended up
Yeah.
getting killed too.
No. Spunkmeyer gets killed off screen. You don't
Yeah,
see
he does.
him.
Yeah, he's killed off
But
screen.
the main pilot, Pharaoh, she
Pharaoh.
gets killed in the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
Badly, but you don't see it. You just know it.
Right.
Whatever
You know-
it is, it crashes.
Yes. Well, you see the blood, and you know that she's been killed.
Yeah, she didn't
Yeah.
get a
Violently
shot
killed.
off.
Right. Yeah, she didn't get the shot. Right.
But she went
She was
down
killed.
swinging.
Mhm.
I ain't gonna knock her for pulling out the pistol, okay? Fact good that it did, but look, die on your feet, not on your knees. That's
She
all I
kind
can
of
say.
died on her ass, but
Well, technically, yeah, but that still counts. You raise a fist before you die, okay. Regardless, I rather look. That's how I want to go out, on my feet, not on my knees. Fuck that noise. I'm going out swinging. I'm a fighter, motherfucker. And yeah, most of the Marines were in the toy line and alive, and were going to be in the cartoon. Oh, the 90s, when they want to cartoonify every violent movie ever made.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
it's kind of sad that Apone went too quick. Especially when
Oh,
you
yeah.
do like
I
behind
agree.
the scenes. I believe he was a vet too,
Mhm.
and he
Yeah.
was very strict on how people he helped, and was very also strict with how people managed and worked the guns.
Right.
props.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since you've been down heroically, we got to give Bill Paxton some credit. He didn't die a coward. He died shooting them before they took him out.
He's talking about Apone, the actor who played Apone.
The Sarge.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. The actor. who
You
played
heard the
Sarge.
woman. You heard the woman.
Yes.
All right, ladies, assholes and elbows.
He was
Hudson.
Paxton played
Come here.
Hudson.
Come here.
I actually liked
Yeah.
Hudson the most because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just how Bill Paxton really played that. I don't know.
I think I liked him too. I think it's how Bill Paxton played him. Yeah.
Well, I like how they were. Yeah, he made maybe the jokes are the Marines. However, when crap hits the fan, like he takes his role as a Marine seriously.
Yeah, he takes it seriously, but it's also interesting that he's the only one who really was showing off the right kind of emotion, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we need to be calm and think about this." Like, calm, think. We just mostly got wiped out. Our only chance of getting off this rock just fucking crashed. We're stuck. It's getting dark, and there's a bunch of monsters coming to kill us. What's to be calm about? Yeah, that's my
See
guy
the
Game
there.
over, man.
Yeah,
Game
he's not
over.
wrong.
Yeah, game over, man. Yeah. That's why I liked it because he reacted the way I probably would react too. I think that's why people took
Speaking
to him
of
because he was acting right.
speaking of Hispanics,
What
was
did you
Burke
eat, and how
supposed
bad is it hurting you now?
was Burke supposed to be Hispanic? Because
Hudson?
I heard a lot of Spanish slang coming from him when he talked, like Hermano and Amigo.
I don't think so. I think that was just, I mean, you heard
I
plenty of
detected a bit of an
guys say that,
accent
and they weren't
too.
Latino.
No, I'm
Mhm.
just saying I detected an accent too. I'm not saying he's Latin in real life. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's like
Well, I know that. I just mean, it just sounded like the lingo. Like, even in his Predator 2 role, you kind of got stuff like that, and he's supposed to be some country boy.
oh, he was in Predator too.
Bill Paxton? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Burke. Burke,
Oh, Burke. Burke.
not Hudson. Burke.
I didn't know we switched to Burke. Okay.
I'm questioning like because he was using a bit of maybe he's probably just hip with the Latinos and he adopted some of their slang.
Or he just thought that Jeanette Goldstein was actually Latina. And he's like, damn, I want to hit some of that. I'm like, hey, I know some Spanish.
Well, he was kind
Real
of the
potato.
liberal of their group. Then he correct Hicks on how to address Bishop properly.
Yes, yes, he did.
Mm, no.
No, no,
I think
no.
it was Bishop that wanted to be addressed as like artificial person or something.
But
Oh,
yeah,
you're right. It was
but was
Bishop. It was
but
Bishop, like
yeah
who did
he
that.
did. But like wasn't it Burke that kind of corrected himself?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, he corrected himself.
during the dinner thing when he was mentioning that he's like an android and Bishop's like, I prefer the term artificial person. He's like, oh yes, my apologies.
Yeah,
Burke. Yeah, Burke. I kind of don't like Burke's character because I was kind of like, okay, so he's like a good rep, and then they just pull out the, oh no, he's totally a bad rep in it for himself, and I'm like, okay, that. I mean, I could understand you could have played that as a little subplot to make suspicion, but there was an easy way to spin instead of just go straight up ham on the him being just evil company man.
yeah. Which even like in multiple watches, it just came out of nowhere. Like they could have just left him like as a good rep who didn't know like a Wayland's like shady dealings, especially like what that company like have like plans like for the Xenomorphs.
And plus, his whole plan when he just goes full ham villain, it's just weak. Like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna impregnate them, and we're gonna easily get back on the ship. Nobody's gonna know, and I'll malfunction. Yeah, totally.
Why that plot? Because that don't make any sense.
Sounds like desperation on his part. I say we
Yeah,
Yeah,
grease this rat fuck son of a bitch right now. Just doesn't make any sense. He figured he could get the alien back through quarantine with if one of us was impregnated, whatever you call
yep.
it, and then frozen for the trip home. Nobody would know about the embryos we were carrying, me and Newt. Wait a minute now. We all know. Yes, the only way he could do it is if he sabotaged certain freezers on the way home, namely yours. Then you could just in the bias and make up any story he liked. Fuck, he's dead, man. Your dog meat, pal. This is so nuts. I mean, listen to what you're saying. It's paranoid delusion. How is it really sad? It's pathetic.
I'm still kind of lost on how he actually pulled that off. Like, how did he get the face huggers off
Right?
and make sure they got into the room with Ripley and New and locked the door without him? He had to be there when he knocked the canisters over
I
and had
would
made sure they got into that room.
I would theorize he didn't knock him over. I think he let them take over. He found some way to I don't know, make the tanks loosen so that they could just tap, or maybe so he kind of baited them out to try to tip them over through another means, right?
I don't know. That's hard to do because especially when you see Ripley and them in the medical bay or the science area or whatever it was called, and you see the ones that are still alive, and they're like pounding away when a normal person gets around there. It's trying to break through the glass, but it's not budging. So he had to do something. I don't know.
Only words like show because like a sudden like face heel turn of Burke was still like came out of left field. It reminded me of what happened to Maxwell Water DC, where he started as an ally of the team until felt like he was made into a villain, even though like there weren't any hints of him like being such. So with Burke, they should have. It makes me wonder like what happened like like in the writing process. So like who suggested to make this like sudden then not heel face heel turn of Burke.
And the other problem is a lot of what he did that Ripley just came down on him in could have easily been like he was just gibbering like an idiot, which was just terrible. Because up to before that, he was kind of being smooth and accurate with his words, and then he just starts being a gibbering idiot who can't make a good lie or anything. But you sent orders to send people to look for that ship and eggs and blah blah blah. Like, of course, he's your caseworker, and he's trying to get all that all those allegations and stuff against her, like the payback due to the company for the destruction of Nostromo, which would probably be a life pay.
Mhm.
Try to get her life back, her status, her license, and everything back. And of course, there's colonists on that planet. So obviously, if there's some aliens, anything that would prove your case, I'd ask somebody to go out into those areas and look. And shit just turned bad.
Yeah, he would actually. Excuse me. Now Burke he was actually trying to help Ripley in getting her life back.
Yeah,
Right.
that
So
could have
if he
been a
really
nice
if he really
twist,
was
just like Bishop. She's out on Bishop thinking he's just going to be evil and all that. And then, here she is starting to think, oh, well, Burke, he's company. He's going to be evil. He's all weapons and all that. And it could have just been a double whammy of, nope, you're just letting your trauma judge you.
yeah, which is which is something that we've been seeing being done to characters like as time went by, but that'll be touched on later. Which again, like the sudden face heel turn of Burke was completely unnecessary, and they should have actually continued on with what they've done with Bishop. Like even if when he learns that the company is actually not going to keep the word and will actually stab Ripley in the back, like he would actively turn against them and would actually do his dangest to give her life back.
Yeah. But that would be
I think
smart
it's kind of the thing
writing.
with think that's kind of the thing. Like, because this is already coming off the heels with Terminator, and as it's probably like the kind of character or the kind of businessman that James Cameron could write or something, because that was something like this with Skynet, even though that was never the original intention for that, because the Terminators turned on their creators and then the machines took over, but that's a whole other thing.
Are you done, Leia?
What do you mean? I'm back.
We hear
We've got
something.
pills.
Who popping pills?
Oh my god, it's not pills. It sounds like pills.
What's with the rattling then?
it was it was some beads. It was some beads on a bracelet. Yeah, on a bracelet that I was putting in a box. In my little jewelry box. But there
Girl,
are
you
no
don't need to be modest. Come on, we know you. We know you need to. Look,
Come on,
we're
Do you
all
think Leia's a
human.
fucking
you
drug
gotta
addict?
go there.
Oh
I ain't saying she
my
was.
lord. Oh my god.
I'm
Oh
just
my
trying to be
goodness.
What?
gentle with her
look.
conditions.
What
If she has any, I'm
Besides
trying to
the
be mild here
I'm
and
just
not
gonna
be
forget
blunt.
it. I'm not even
besides is
I'm not even
look
gonna
aside
claim it.
from ripping on Leia, and of course, Rose like yanking her chain. But he did bring up in the comments that the Burks actor he actually did get a chance like to write an AU comic where his character lived with the assistance of established comic book writers.
Yeah, and
Whereas,
in the extra uncut stuff, you find him in the nest, and he blows
Mhm.
himself up after Ripley just gives him one of the detonators.
That is true. Yeah, and I read the like AU comic for Aliens, and it's not bad.
That was him
Mhm.
and Vasquez that blew up, right?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, wrong
that
scene.
was
Okay.
that was
Wrong.
the what was his name? The guy who
Gorman.
was originally calling the lead of the team,
Right.
Gorman.
Gorman.
Okay. Wrong scene. I forgot.
Which he went out like a badass too.
Mm-hmm.
Despite being a very fickle and kind of sort of inexperienced chain of command, inexperienced leader, that once again it does kind of fall in organic when it comes to real life occurrences within the workspace, or in this case uh, the military branch, where you get this young and inexperienced commander leading you, and of course, just like Ash, everybody's uncomfortable with this guy, especially with him mentioning that he only did 2 drop, like 47 drops or some shit like that in
Uh,
simulations.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and 0 actual combat drops.
Yep. And they're just looking at it like Jesus Christ, we're gonna fucking die. We are going to fucking die because this incompetent nut job is with us. Good thing we got the Sarge with us. But we're gonna die. I mean, they already died like what in damn near 3 minutes because the jack off listened to Burke's freaking advice, told them to give all the ammo to the one black guy that got torched.
Mm.
It was
Well,
a
granted, that
recipe for
was
disaster.
poor, thinking before they left for the reactor, and had to be pointed out like, "Oh, hey, you're going in this section, and if you shoot something bad, we're all gonna blow up."
Mm-hmm.
Like, gee,
It's funny
you
because
couldn't think of that when you were looking over the schematics and stuff.
no, it kills me the fact that they bemoaned it. It's like, dude, either you give up your ammo or you die. Which one? Then again, they live for the meat grinders, so I think they'll take their chances, right?
Hmm.
But no, what did you guys think about the Alien Queen?
Well, I thought that was a great match for Ripley and gave Ripley one of the most memorable lines, another memorable line in film history.
Get away
You know
from
what
her,
I mean?
bitch.
Yes. Yes.
The Queen is definitely a welcoming addition to the
Hit
alien
her for
lore.
one fucking second, and already she calling her a bitch.
Well, they got an applause in the theater I was in.
I'm just saying, like
Like,
they made this broad for 1 minute, and already she calling her a bitch.
well, she's serious
What?
business. She won't want that. She doesn't want that alien queen to get that little girl. And she said, "You and
Right,
I are
And
right.
going to dance."
and the Queen and the Queen is no slouch either, because she's willing to throw down.
Yes.
It's funny
Yeah.
because we don't really see much of the Queen at all in the first or second half of the movie, and here she is towards the end, and like I said, she's talking to her like she's known her throughout the whole damn movie.
Well,
I'm
it's
joking,
the
but
only
I
part.
like it though.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
She asks the question, "Who's laying the eggs?" And
Hmm.
so it's not hinted at. We don't catch on to there, but we know that like Don brought out that the queen is the one laying all these eggs, but you know none of them figured that out yet, that there could be a queen in the nest. And yeah, she is formidable. There's no doubt about it. Great villain
Very
for Ripley to
complex
fight.
puppeteering to boot as well. The credit where due for Cameron, and I know I rag on him a lot, but I gotta give him his props too sometimes.
I mean, the puppetry and
Everything
the practical effects.
Yeah,
everything in
It
that
was all
movie,
smooth.
everything in that movie that he did that he thought up along with his crew was made to physically be real, to actually physically function. He prioritized functionality over aesthetic. The guns, the pulse rifles, and the smart guns were built to be functioning weapons. So functional that now people in real life can construct them either through airsoft or the like. Queens versus Queens. Uh, I was gonna bring up Xeno Snip. I was gonna bring up Xeno Zip. I was gonna complain and bemoan the fact that we're denied Xeno Zip. We needed Xeno Zip to be a thing and not some black goo pathogen. Because Xeno Zip is the way, man. Xeno Zip is the shit, man. Hey, have you ever taken Xeno Zip? I swear, man. I swear. I know I'm scratching myself, but damn, that Xeno Zip is something else, man. No, I'm kidding. But no, the way how the ships function, even the loader machine that Ripley pilots at the beginning of the film and to fight the Queen at the end of the film, that was built to function, you know. So I was very impressed at the construction of everything from the guns, the machinery to the ship. Hell, even the car the APC that they rolled in on the colony was built to function, and that thing was built to fit people in. Surprisingly, surprised they didn't make more of those things. I would have worn one myself with that big ass double barrel cannon on top. Yeah, humble. You like it. You would like it, especially you would want one with spinning rims. But yeah, I really do like Karen's approach to that. Would there be would it be say a good time to move on to Alien 3 now?
The only thing I will say is I think this is one of the best sequels. Everybody knows this, but it's true. It's a fact. I think it's one of the best sequels ever made. This was a time when sequels were actually done well and you looked forward to them back in the early 80s and 90s. And
It
this
was
is, to me,
also
one
the
of the best
time
ones.
of where surfaces of divisiveness started to arise as well. Not many people like the idea that the Alien Queen present company included. Not everybody, just one of us. They didn't like the idea of the Alien Queen, especially when the director's cut of Alien came out, and we later find out that there was actually other stuff that the xenomorph can do. So it kind of it made the Alien Queen a bit superfluous, and a lot of people, as Buddy Smith said, and I've heard people have said this too. It reduces the xenomorph into like a bug hunt, as Hicks had once said earlier in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now,
Alien 3 was supposed to go back to basics apparently, but judging by the production history of that film, going through so many revisions and so many ideas, that was insane.
yeah. Not to mention, like the original plans for Alien Three, Alien Three that we should have and could have gotten. That ended up like being turned into an audio drama, and people like still prefer that rather than over like the theatrical cut of Alien Three. Even though the assembly cut is an improvement somewhat of the film,
Man, poor David Lynch.
right?
They fucked him over badly. And I'm pretty sure he would have done a really good job with Alien 3 if they would let the
Mm-hmm.
man cook for once.
Yeah, and actually, you would have continued. You would continue like what was established like about the Xenos and otherwise like thanks to the existence. I mean, not existence, assistance of H.R. Giger.
Hell, I would entertain the idea of a wood station in deep space. As silly as that sounds, because yes, there was original concept of there being a space station consisting of wood. Now I'm pretty sure they would have worked something out with how that's supposed to be possible. But yeah, I and it being populated by holy preachermen, would have
Mm-hmm.
loved to see that. Now
Me
what we
too.
got what we got was essentially okay too. A religious, a very devout religious colony of death row inmates and all sorts of inmates. That was pretty nice too. One of them being played by Charles S. Dunton, aka Rock. Oh, don't y'all tell me y'all don't know no Rock.
Yes, we know. I'm just
Rock,
saying we're going into
Sorry, David Fincher, not David Lynch. David Fincher.
David
yeah.
Fincher.
Mhm.
I
Yes,
know,
I know
Doc.
Rock.
You were ready to come around and correct me. Here, you giggling in there.
And I said right because I know you meant to say David Fincher and not Lynch.
They
Another
they, they
slip up.
run they run a little bit too together too well. So I make that mistake every once in a while. But no, it was David Fincher that directed Alien 3, or at least tried to direct Alien 3. I believe he only directed like about what 60% of that movie,
60%.
just about. I wouldn't say that's the
Yeah,
accurate percentage, but I'm pretty sure
it's
he
about
got far enough to where
God
he
bless you.
quit it.
it's inside.
Um,
It was far.
if
It
I
was far
recall,
enough. No, but again, like yeah, like Fincher's like original plans like for Illness Three that got turned into an audio drama and even as a comic and novel.
oh man, do you really want me to play the original Alien 3 teaser, Buddy Smith?
It doesn't hurt.
Look, man, if this string get cut off, get cut short, I'm blaming Yao,
Okay.
not you, humble. She just trying to. Okay, no, we're not talking about you, humble. You're not at fault on this. You're not even guilty by association. You've been quite swell. Well, we just gotta give it time to load up. But like I said, if we get cut off, y'all to blame. I'm already I'm already trying YouTube with the first trailer, the first teaser of Alien, and that was 2 minutes almost. But wait, let me get this off. We're not talking about the Sulaco crew anymore. That's distracting. There.
This is this is where I get a lack of quiet because this is when I start to fall out of the franchise. But more on that later.
Buddy Smith.
Yes, Buddy Smith.
You got a point there, child.
Right.
Bunch of
But
murderers
still,
and rapists and all scum and villainy.
I just feel like this. Well, I'll wait till we get into it. But I felt like everything that made 2 great was thrown into the toilet when we got to 3. Sorry, that's just how I feel.
Like, if nothing else, they like I said, they could have stuck with the Holy Man in the space station, because there was a story piggybacking off of one of the supplementary stories. There was a story about a Catholic prefecture colony that was hunted by the Xeno. I'm not sure who was it that was there though. I know I know there was a woman there, but I do also remember that there being a one of the priests being crazy, and all the other priests tend to try to avoid. They tend to avoid him because he talk crazy talk, but he's actually the really good, nice ones, despite his crazy. Whereas was every one of the creatures are probably hypocrites and you know pretentious and all that stuff. I remember that story. We could have had that story. We could have had that one, or the one with Doctor Church.
Dr.
What's
Church,
his
yeah.
name? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Shit, I'm pretty sure that's where really Scott stole his idea from. Dr. Church.
Hey, Church.
Well, while you get that
But Church was
going,
also featured.
I'm going.
But Church was also featured in the Alien comics.
That's what I'm saying. He probably stole that from that comic series. And that dude was screwed up.
Yeah. Yet.
And also, that had a lot of weird mutations and stuff going on as well.
Oh yeah.
But that made sense in the long run because that was part of what they trying to experiment on the xenomorph. I mean, think about the alien king, quote unquote.
Well, not just the experiments there. When Church, you get back into his like past life when he was younger, how he was
Oh
taken into a
God.
hive, and there was
Ooh.
like mutations and
Yeah.
certain aspects of the hive.
And
After
mold
the hive,
Yeah,
also like what happened? What happens to the colonists like after they got abducted? Like first, like
and
you see
mold
what. Yes, you saw what happened to the men. Now to the women. Ooh.
and
yeah,
it
right.
all had to do with mold. Mold. Lots of mold.
Oh yeah.
Nothing but mold. It all came from mold. You see?
But
Well, to answer your question, Paperback Queen, no, we're focusing on the movies and not the expanded material.
as best we can.
Yeah.
But while you get the trailer going, about Alien 3 though, I didn't hate it. I actually liked it. I
I liked it too.
I
Actually.
did.
I don't hate it either. Like, I can appreciate it for what it is. Is at the same time, I prefer or the assembly cut more than the theatrical.
Yeah. I don't know. I found it interesting at the time. Yeah, Hicks died in that, but I didn't really care about if they did. I mean, usually rule of thumb with horror films, bad things always happen. There are no good endings. Usually,
Right.
and this is supposed to be the end. Well, here's the end.
Oh, they lied.
Yeah, Ripley goes into a deep depression throughout this whole movie. I mean,
Mhm.
bordering on suicidal even.
Suicidal. She's
Especially
even banging the doctor.
Charles Dance of all people.
Yeah, yeah,
Even in an alien film, Charles Dance get all the booty. That man
yeah.
gets the booty. With
And
this,
it's a pretty interesting
bro,
setup too. Like
it's
here she is.
surprising to me to find out that that man has quite the love life. Apparently, even at his old age, I'm like, bro, you still getting bitches at your age? Jesus, man, what kind of manhole is you? Anyways, continue,
But
Dark.
yeah, I like the setting too as well. You know, it's a prison stuff, and essentially she has to rely on humanity's monsters, if you will, to help kill a monster. Uh, it's kind of an interesting take. Of course, you know, the standout is Dylan, who himself makes it very clear I'm not a good person. I've done very bad things, and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah,
I don't know. He just stand out as a really interesting character.
you know, that's one thing that's very consistent about the Alien franchise. They elevate some really interesting black folk.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck anybody who says that the Alien franchise is not kind to black folk, bro.
Or
You
anybody
had
that
Yafet as Parker, an accomplished engineer. You had Frost,
Well,
Private Frost, an accomplished Marine.
considering what you know about engineering, I mean, he could have made a makeshift shotgun or something, and that would have been.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But he wasn't right in the head at the time. You think he's gonna build that
But
in
he
a
made those
stressful?
flamethrowers.
Did he though? Ain't that
Yeah,
part of their equipment?
yeah. He made the makeshift flamethrowers. He even said
I
so.
mean, with whatever zoom zooms and whatever he could pick up, I don't think he would be able to manufacture a shotgun at best.
I
He
don't know.
probably
They
got.
had mining equipment and everything, and that's a lot
Look,
of.
man, this ain't completely Dead Space. Come on now.
I don't mean that. I mean, come on. There's a lot of chemicals, a lot of engineering parts and stuff. You can make some kind of a gun or an
I mean, the
explosive.
title is Alien, so how alien do you want it to be enough to a point where, you know, it becomes the near unkillable lethal machine you want, or the bug that you can just stomp out?
Well, now
Is my
they're
thing.
also kind of making that questionable because yeah, aliens pretty much makes it clear like yeah, you can just shoot them and blow
Look,
them up.
man, do you
They
want me to
die,
finish
and
my
then we come
tirade
to
on a couple
Romulus.
black folk in horror
Yeah,
real
but then
fast?
we come to Romulus, and what's the big reveal? Oh, the first alien uh got not only harpooned but and also fried on an engine and launched out into space, but also survived in the husks of the explosion of the Nostromo.
Yeah. If that's not bull crap, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Anyways, like I said, Alien 3, for example, Dylan, an accomplished murderer and rapist of women who leads a cadre of very devout Christian like prisoners and rallies them together to fight a beast for redemption.
Yeah.
And having the iconic line that I use to this day, would you so how do you choose to go out, my brothers? On your feet or on your knees?
Are you gonna follow up? Because the follow up really sells it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got going. I have to be on that one. I barely remember that damn speech. Shit. I just remember the powerful bits. Okay.
Come
Okay,
on, man. If
okay.
you're gonna
Look, I
like
was
if a
young. I was young. I'm a kid. The kid part of me only remembers that good. You know, just saying,
The
man.
good parts of
Damn,
the speech.
look,
You only know the good
motherfucker.
parts.
Look, motherfucker. I'll recite the whole speech. I'm on IMDb right now. I'm gonna scroll down the quotes. Okay. Damn, y'all pulling rank on your commander now. I'm happy court martial y'all. Wait, what the fuck is all this? IMDb, what is all this shit?
It's IMDb these days. It's full of all
Jesus
sorts of
Christ.
crap.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
You're not
for
wrong.
anybody listening, we're not going to touch on Alien Covenant because fuck Ridley Scott.
Yeah,
We can do
and we're
that
not.
another day, depending
And
on where Disney goes with the series.
oh,
Which,
Disney's.
Depending on my mood.
eh,
Disney has a hold of it. Doesn't sound very good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
they've had a hold
Well,
of
it's
it for a
not just the
while.
Alien, not just the Alien franchise, but Predator as well, because both of them are part of Fox.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, quick thoughts on Romulus, but also my thoughts on Alien 3. Not interested in watching any of them because, well, unrelated, but after Predator 3, or Predators, lost my appetite.
Here it goes. Here it is.
Alien
We're
3
all
is
gonna.
good for an end, and if you just leave it at that end, and
Y'all ready
everything
for
else
this
is just
now?
whatever. Yeah, go on.
Oh, the trailer. Yeah.
I'm ready.
We're all gonna die. The only question is when. It's a good place as any to take your first steps to heaven. The only question is how you check out. Do you want to go on your feet or on your fucking knees begging? I ain't much for begging. Nobody ever gave me nothing. So I say, fuck that thing. Let's fight it.
Well, I'm clapping too. Look, I'll say this about Alien 3. Yes, the cast, the acting was excellent, but the story and the concept of the story just turned me off. I just did not enjoy this as much as I did the first two. And because what happened with the other two characters, even though you make a good point about Newt maybe not being there, still I just felt that magic, that sauce that made two work, or maybe just two. Just you get one of these sequels that just do everything so good, the third one just doesn't live up to it.
Free child's comment here.
Oh, I see.
For real, look at that shit.
Oh, so true,
Even
so
though,
true.
even though
But
Romulus
it's
is
a
crap,
retard android.
even though,
Is that
even
really an
though
accomplishment?
androids, it does not make sense.
For a concept of an android that's somehow retarded, how would you suddenly make a robot that's that retarded when it's supposed to be an artificial intelligence?
He's he was a
Exactly, it
2
shouldn't be
one.
retarded.
Supposedly he's an A2. Supposedly.
He's a retarderoid.
let's not rag on him too much. He's an okay character in that film. I wouldn't say he's the
Get
best
away
character.
from her, you bitch.
Oh God, I liked him up until that point. Up until that point, I was like, bro, don't push your fucking luck. You're not as badass as Ripley. Sorry. Start. If you want to stand up, stop stealing white women lines. Homeboy.
Retarded color, no, buddy. That's a new
At
one.
this point, that should be like a. At this point, this should be like a Star Wars droid or something, like the. What are these things called? The in the prequels.
Truth be told, I would think they would have Newt in the command deck, just to keep her away from the prisoners, because one of them have to be a pedophile.
You're not wrong.
Shit, I wouldn't even
But
leave
they,
her ass near Charles Dance. He'd probably do something to her.
yet,
Considering
yet
his
in
fucking
real life,
backstory.
yet
Well,
in
his
real,
only backstory was he was an addict doing overworked shifts and just needed an edge until he was called back and accidentally prescribed a slightly higher dosage than he should have, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, he
Yet,
wasn't really a prisoner. He was mostly there to work. again. In fact, he was going to. I think he was on the verge of getting locked up for negligence, right, or malpractice.
He was arrested for malpractice. He did his
Malpractice.
time, and he could have left free, but instead, he chose to stay there with the motley crew he familiarized with, and he could do like the job he was trained to do. Because if he went back to the world, he couldn't be a doctor again. He couldn't get his license or anything. He'd have to try and find some other trade
Right.
fitting of
Mhm.
a prisoner role, and that would be something lesser than what he was trained for.
Yep.
Imagine Charles Dance, not Tywin. It's easy. Trust me, it's very easy. It's not really that hard. I've seen him in The Golden Child. He was the devil.
But at least
Sort
he
of.
didn't die on a toilet.
Hmm.
He got his head crushed in this one, though. Well, no,
Yeah,
that was,
he got tongued.
yeah, he got tongue, but the Stepano was the one that got his head crushed. Man, when you look back at some of these films, there's some actors that did get their time to shine in some parts, didn't they?
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
the Stepano was, from what I heard, made his way to Better Call Saul. He was also in Training Day.
Hmm.
He was Psycho. Wasn't he Psycho or Stupid? One of those. He was the one that goes, "Oh yeah, I got my shit pushed in, bro."
That'd be psycho.
Yeah, Psycho. Take your fucking meds, then, bro. That's why we always losing. Cause this been Dale right here.
Yeah.
Dude's always playing a fucking gangster Latina. That's his role.
But yeah, like if you just see it as an end, yeah, it's not going to be the best, and it has a happy ending on with certain characters.
We're gonna
But
we're gonna
it's an
power
end.
through this before I sign off.
But before we continue on or power through, one quick thing. Final. You still there?
Yes, what?
You said when I showed you the movie that you had critiques of why you didn't like Aliens, and I mentioned this. Well, he also wanted to hear them, so
Wait,
let's hear it.
aliens?
Yeah, you said you
Real
didn't
quick.
like the
This
second half or
Oh no, I
whatever of
said Alien
Alien.
3.
No, you didn't
You
see
mentioned
Alien 3. We just saw Alien and Aliens, and you mentioned after I aired it that you didn't like Aliens.
It's after Aliens. I didn't want to watch Alien 3. That was the
I
thing.
know that, but when I
but
asked how
you
you liked the
said your
film, you
critique
said
when you was
it
done
was
watching
fine up until
Aliens.
about the third way through, and then you're just bored of it and stuff.
No,
We're swinging back to Aliens. Final. We want to hear what you thought
but
about the third act.
I didn't say anything about the third act.
See now I'm getting two stories. What's up, Dark?
I don't know. What's up, Final? I recall that. You said you kind of got bored of it and didn't like how it kept on going through, and you saved the rest for when we did the stream.
He must have changed his mind. He must have
Wait.
rewatched it.
You're probably think. I think you're probably thinking of Predator 3.
Nope. It was the
Predator.
Alien Night.
I wasn't there because I
But I
dipped
think you're
out.
also confusing it with Predator 3.
Okay.
Again, Paperback Queen. We're not touching on any of the expanded and supplementary material in this stream.
We could do that
Not in
another
depth.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah, some other time.
On another
We're just
time.
focusing on Aliens 3, and hopefully Romulus and also Resurrection.
Really?
Which I definitely want to get into Resurrection because, bro, every single time I watch Resurrection, I always have fun with that movie, despite it always making me sick.
But Romulus, really?
What? Romulus is part of this universe, despite the fact that it tied into to Prometheus. Look, I would enjoy Romulus if it didn't tie into Prometheus, if it didn't carry Prometheus over at all. That's my only issue. That's my top main issue about that movie is the fact that I do not want. It's like I understand that Ridley Scott's a producer, but you didn't have to listen to that motherfucker. What's that? Fede Alvarez. You didn't need to listen to him. What Disney has just got on you to make you want to link Prometheus with Alien? All right, because Covenant happened. Technically, it is part of it, but damn, is it confusing now? Because yeah, no mention of the black goo in Aliens or Alien 3.
Or even Resurrection, even though
Not
that
even
movie's
Resurrection.
Which takes place in the future.
Far future.
Far
where Earth
future.
is a shithole now.
Of course, then again, they could logically, oh, well, that was the company that was running that, and this was all military by then. Like, so they obviously
No.
didn't have the company records. Oink,
No.
oink, oink.
No. Plot hole.
It's all plot holes.
This is why I hate prequels.
This is why I just didn't care after 3. It ended.
True.
Yeah.
True.
The end.
Should have stopped
I
at
was
3.
I was done after 2. 3 to me was nothing lived up to 2, 1 and 2, as far as I'm concerned. That's again, I'm just speaking for myself.
My main issue, especially when I first heard that Alien Resurrection was coming out, was how the hell did they get a fucking blood sample from Ripley? I know how cloning works.
Now, if they said they got it from the med bay, okay, but
there ain't
from
no
the
blood
furnace, furnace that instantly incinerates everything.
Wasn't that what they said in Resurrection?
Yeah, I think so. Or did they just say they got it from the planetoid? I don't.
No.
I could have swore they mentioned they got it from the furnace area.
Yeah, they got it from the furnace.
Yeah,
which, again,
never
like,
trust
if you know,
a French
if you
man
know
to direct your American film.
Which again, like, if you know your physics, that actually that it does not make sense, because as Dark pointed out, it burns everything. So
yeah, we
that's
saw
the way to
that
survive.
when they got rid of Hicks and Newt.
Mm-hmm. My whole thing is they just wanted Sigourney Weaver back in the show, obviously, and they paid her a hefty good amount of money to be in it too. And Jesus Christ,
wasn't that also the one Alien movie where Sigourney Weaver also did a basketball trick?
Yeah, and she did it without. She just did that herself on the fly, and it scored.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who reacted to that. I think Ron Perlman talked about that and, like, said something. I remember, but it got people kind of off guard, like, oh shit, that was great.
Yeah, they had to do some more shootings of it because the cast and crew kept cheering. Well, at least the first time they did it, they cheered because it was impressive. I would not be surprised if there's any yearbook pictures of her in a fucking jersey.
She
with
probably
a basketball.
was. I think.
Come on. The fact that she was able to shoot the basketball through the hoop like that, it makes sense that in the past she was a basketball player.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why she did that.
Or picked up balling sometime later before acting in Resurrection. But damn, is she good at dribbling that ball? So she got some skills, guys. She got some skills.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus Christ, you want to know how I can tell they paid her more and where the money really went to and how much it shows? This is the horniest Ripley I've ever seen out of all the Ripleys.
You can say that.
She's part alien. And the aliens, I guess, are very horny.
I mean,
which
Jesus
explains
Christ,
Lambert now.
This bitch all nuzzling on people, sniffing them, getting eyes for cow and First line she says to the Betty crew, by far one of my favorite crews, by the way.
Like, man,
First thing she
man,
says to the crew,
Ripley,
"Who do I have to fuck to get off this shit?" I was like, "Damn, girl, pump the brakes."
no, my reaction to this, man, Ripley, what are you? You still from Species?
Probably
Sheesh, you
because
might as well
remember
be.
when she got pulled in and she's being pulled in, she's like, and you get these scenes where she's like holding the alien and like caressing it. And it's like, what the fuck's going on here? Are we supposed to be scared? I'm
Or
thinking
scare
we watched the
roused.
wrong movie here.
More like scare
Whoa.
roused. Because Jesus Christ, like, bro, first thing they introduce her, she all naked in a cloth. They put her in a medical bag, still naked. Hell, when she caressing the newborn, Jesus Christ, like, can you turn your horny off for a split second, or do I need to get the bunk stick like Dom be doing? Because Jesus Christ, even when she was around Ron Perlman, I was like, oh my God, girl, you just giving them mixed signals at this point. Stop.
Of course, I would not really want to smash that because, her blood's acidic. So, do the rump and like there's a little blood that's like,
I
ooh,
can only imagine. I can only
castration
imagine before you even
in
initiate, you
itself.
gotta ask her, is it your time this month? Cause you ready to hop on me? I need to know. If is this your time? Cause if it is, no go. See, I'm not acid proof, unlike you.
No, it's totally not my mouth. Then why is the toilet got holes?
Wait, I thought water helps get rid of the acid.
No, not this acid. Not this acid. Maybe it could. But I ain't never seen no alien die in the water at all.
Well, we saw people and an alien drop into the water, and the black guy in Resurrection got a face of it and went into the water, and he should have. Although it didn't seem like it was melting him as bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of died. They kind of play fast and loose with the acidic blood in Resurrection. Either it eats through, floors and floors of steel, and it only burns like it only gives you like second degree burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, oh, they can spit acid now. So then back earlier, like, they can't get out of the very containers they just need to acid through,
Right?
and they just kill this one just to get out for the acid, but they could just spit it the whole fucking time. Like,
Yeah, because like
hmm.
their drool is like slime, so now you're saying it's acid now?
No, it's
No,
not.
not the drool,
No,
the blood. They in
they
4,
can cough up
you
their
can
own
actually
blood at
spit
you.
it like venom.
Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah,
can. They can
because you said they could that they could that they could spit acid now. It's just like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, they can
they can spit
projectile
their own
spit.
blood.
It's weird. I love that movie for its weirdness. I do. Don't get me wrong. It's dumb. It's dumb in places, but I love the dumb. I just love the dumb. I mean, John did blow one up in the Ron Perlman's character, by the way, blew up one of them in the water. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Did the acid maintain itself in the submerged?
It probably would. It's supposed to be like high molecular acid. That's that would probably still last for a while and not get diluted. But I'm no chemist.
They also kind of depowered the face huggers too,
Mm,
because once they grab onto somebody, they don't like to let go. Even when you try to make them let go, they stay on tight. And yeah, somehow they were able to pull one off, even with the tail wrapping. And they always targeting Ripley. They don't target nobody else. And why would it target Ripley when she's supposed to be one of them? They should be able to detect their own. And I'm noticing that y'all gone quiet from that.
Well,
It's a point I never thought about.
well,
I'm just saying that was the
like,
weirdest
because
shit that I ever
because
seen. Where
she's a
where
hybrid.
she's supposed to be a hybrid of alien and human, right?
Yeah.
The Xenos don't fuck with her at all because they see her as one of them. So technically,
Ooh.
Almost wrestling with our mic.
Who is that? That was not me this time.
It was
you
Humble.
you better be finding Xeno in your underwear, girl.
Ew.
Sorry, that was a part of the first movie.
Yeah, I heard. That would have been one of the weirdest movies to be ever sponsored by Always Maxi Pads.
All I'm saying is, with all that stuff, you better be finding something, preferably clothed.
Well, if everything's always attacking Ripley despite being one of them, wouldn't that be like a flock of chickens discovering an outsider?
I'm surprised they didn't get her in her famous underwear from the first movie, in the fourth one, since they were doing all this hyper sex themed stuff. I mean, I get it. The Xenos conceptual was kind of a dead giveaway of making them anti-sex in a way.
Mm.
Yeah, but making them extra horny, it's like, wow, someone was
Just
lonely
defeats the
those
purpose,
5 years
doesn't
in
it?
space.
Really, just defeat the purpose and turn it on its head, doesn't it?
Anti-sex, yet somehow horny? That's not an oxymoron.
For real, that's basically what Alien Resurrection was. Because boy, you got one scene where you got Michael Wynn called the voice of death and the prophet of truth, right? Giving a fine lady a foot massage.
Alien Resurrection, the Viagra of sci-fi.
For real.
When you get hard, stay hard.
And everybody making passes at verbally making passes at Cal, saying that one of them, no, implying that she might have been used for sexual gratification.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
the chair guy needed something.
besides laundry for all those socks?
I guess
Ugh.
the soldiers do stand up still, despite his legs, because he sure implied that they banged, and she gave him a good one.
I'm not sure if we're
He's
gonna talk about the rest of the two films because it's getting late on my end because it's 3:03 on
no. I'm
where I'm
gonna
at.
touch brief. No, we already on Resurrection. We just don't
I
talk
didn't see
briefly
it, so I
about
don't
this.
have much to say on it. And
Look,
we are out in
my
space.
favorite out of the Bay crew besides Michael Wincole's character, what was his name again? Landon or some shit. Elton.
I forget.
I think it was Elton. Was Christy. Christy was my favorite because when Elton died, he took the leadership and he did a fine job with it until he died. And Christy is the one with the dreadlocks with the hidden guns in his sleeves.
Elgin. Elgin. It's Elgjyn.
Elgin.
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 Elgin. Just call him Elgin.
Ellington.
Whatever. His second in command was my favorite out of the bunch because, like I said, he took the leadership role and he was like powering through it, trying to keep everybody safe, trying to get everybody out of there. Even telling Cal like, "You're not gonna blow up this shit while everybody's on here." Got it. After we get off, then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, he was the Black Hicks, but aggressive. Because even he didn't like to take leadership role, but he took up what he needed to and led the charge after Michael Biehn died. Just like Hicks, they lost Sarge, and well, that makes Corporal Hicks in charge, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess I'm in charge." Fuck.
Oh, that's right. He did do a little writing. He did wrote. Joss Whedon did write this movie. I forgot.
Yes,
I
and a French guy directed. That's why you got the piss filter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that piss filter was terrible. Made everything brown, and when it's not there, everything's gray. I think that's another criticism I have of this movie. The color palette is so damn off. Everything is brown and piss.
Like, dude, like, have any of you taken color theory?
Yeah, Buddy Smith making mention that the Bay Crew is proto Firefly, hence their dialogue. But I like them though. I still love the Firefly crew though.
Only in parts. Like some
It's a
of where
shame that
some gone.
it's a shame that we don't get enough of them to really latch on to enough. We don't really know much of what they can do. Like you knew who was who in the Nostromo crew. You knew who was who in the Sulaco crew. We barely know who is who in the Bay crew, other than that all of them have some really nice looking guns. I mean, Christy may be a pilot. We don't know. We know that the lady with the cornrows, she's a pilot. She's the co-pilot, and Elgin's lover. Elgin's the captain. He's a pilot. Apparently, the wheelchair guy, he
He's the
can
mechanic.
drive. Well, apparently he's the mechanic, but he don't really get a chance to do mechanical stuff, does he?
Only at the start, and I think he kind of does help with some stuff, but pretty much he's just dead weight being carried around.
And the thing is, we don't even know what genre does.
He's a monkey.
He's just a goofball. He's basically Jane. He just knows how to hide weapons real good.
Pretty much the best on point acting. Like, be a monkey. You look like a monkey. Like, it was so on point, man. That was beautiful. It fits in.
You know what's scary about Ron Perlman sometimes? Is when he talks calmly in movies, especially in the scene with the basketball. Because earlier ago he was all banging his head or slamming his hand on the railing after Carl breaks his knife, or the fact that when she throws her boxing gloves at his drink, you see him. But to see him being all calm and nice towards Ripley, I was like, Jesus Christ, Ron Perlman, stop acting calm. You scaring me.
It's been a long time since he's seen a real woman that he wants to fuck.
They're like, come on, John, you know I can't lay off the tall ones. It's like, well, nice of him to recognize how tall Sigourney Weaver is, because Jesus Christ, I keep forgetting that Sigourney Weaver is tall. That bitch is 6 foot, right? 6 foot something.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, standing next to she dwarfs Winona Ryder, man.
Yeah, she's just straight up 6 feet tall.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But when you see her in the previous film, she looks so small, right? Nuh-uh. You gotta appreciate movie magic like that.
I mean, yeah, she is tall and she dwarfs Winona. Winona Ryder is like just a little taller than Rick Moranis. He's like 5'6", so you just look at the Ghostbusters in the hall and see how tall she is compared to Rick. It's like, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's Winona Ryder without the piss filter.
So I think that's all I can say about Resurrection. It's fun for what it is. I love it, warts and all. The musical score is pretty nice.
Yeah, I will give Resurrection for that.
It's a shame we didn't have Jerry Goldsmith to do the composing this time. Don't know when he passed away.
I believe in the 2000s.
Okay, so they,
Yeah.
they couldn't get Jerry Goldsmith this time for Resurrection.
It's French.
They had a bunch of races anyways. But Romulus, I would say, surprised me in some ways, but also disappointed me in a few others. I'm gonna touch on it briefly since I'm probably the only one that saw the movie in this panel.
Yeah, I didn't get
What,
past
Romulus? I've
it.
seen it.
I know you've seen it, but
Oh.
we also need somebody who can talk positively about it too now.
Okay.
There's some things
So how
that
much
work.
is the mouse paying you? Come on, out with it.
They ain't paying me shit.
It's pain and cold meds.
Shoot. No, I'm just saying, like, there's some parts I like about it, and there's some parts I didn't like about it. Like the fact that they kind of they were kind of touching on downtrodden colonists this time around instead of just the Nostromo, like a trucker crew like the Nostromo or say Colonial Marines. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like a whole lot about, but there was some nice beats to it. But that's
I
about as
wasn't
much as
too crazy about the musical score, however. Too much blaring. I
I
don't
just
like that.
mostly couldn't get over the plot. It's Don't Breathe, but with Alien.
Yeah, it did kind of follow the same beats as Don't Breathe. I like Don't Breathe.
And if people don't know, whatever his name is, Fave,
Fetty
whatever,
Alvarez
Fede Alvarez, he did the Don't Breathe film as well
and Evil
and
Dead
wrote it.
remake. He also did the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, which was also meh.
Oh, I was supposed to play the damn Alien 3 trailer. Oh well, we ran out of time. Too bad, guys. But no,
But hey, at least it saved your ass from trying to cut it.
right. No, the thing is, I just didn't like the fact that for all their skill sets, they over relied on the android to get them out of situations. Like hardly anybody had a big brain idea to help out with the situation and feed it to the android. He's a especially when gets to the way tiny chip integrated into him and he started becoming this hyper competent android. Now suddenly they have to rely on him poking things to get things working. That shit was too damn funny. He kept poking locks to get the doors open.
Mm. I
Yeah.
also just find it funny that they had this station full of aliens right around a goddamn colony, and I'm like, oh wow, you guys didn't think about doing something about that, huh?
I'm also a bit iffy on its placement, just as much.
It's another prequel.
Yeah, and once again, Aliens does not mention any incident, or maybe because Utani is trying to keep it under wraps at all times.
Yeah, and well, at this point, the obviously this prequel insinuates that yeah, they knew about the Nostromo and they also had the alien, so they know all about that. The problem is, again, my earlier complaint when it came to aliens, they never touched on the ship, so they know about this, they have it on record, they're investing in it, and here's the ship, one of the ships of the makers that they know about now, and
Yeah,
they don't give a shit about it.
Prometheus threw a monkey wrench in a whole lot of alien content. It really screwed up the franchise really badly because there's
Well-
so many ways they could have gotten the Xenomorph in so many fucking ways. If they wanted that badly. They have
Yeah.
Black Goo. They have the one that got blown out the airlock. I forgot what his name. He has a nickname.
Big Chappie.
Big Chappie, yeah. I'm like, bro, why is it so hard to produce these things, Waylon? Utani?
But I did like those films more than Romulus. Sorry.
True.
They're bad movies, but I like artistic failure over, you know, a film made by a committee who just wants to, recycle everything.
And bridge the gap.
Yeah. It has to all be connected. Oh,
Now,
and here's a healthy dose of member berries too.
Paperback Queen asking about Alien Earth. I just might give that one a chance.
It
But
might be interesting.
I make no promises.
It looks more interesting than the Predator stuff.
Yeah, this both. We'll talk more about this about the prayer because we're talking about that next week.
Yep.
But man, oh man, it's my same analogy about the whole Doug thing, the little Doug comic I read in the Adventure Comics, and the analogy about him making a gravy boat, and everybody keep adding all kind of materials when it's a simple pottery. It's just a simple pottery. You don't need to add anything else to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from Disney of all places. Disney's Adventures magazine had a good story where I took that to heart. It's like it's just a fucking gravy boat. You don't need to turn into a super soaker or anything like that. But here they are thinking that they're helping when all they're doing is making it look ugly. Uglier and uglier. But yeah, I would say 5 out of 10 for Romulus. Just the fact that Fede Alvarez, regardless of what he did for the movie, he definitely had a passion for it. There was passion for it. Okay.
Yeah, for the incest.
Shut up.
And I'm not joking, that's a literal thing where a guy's brother's sister, because that's one of the big plot points for why they're trying to steal stuff to go to another colony, which, owned by Utani, because, yeah, surely they won't care if we steal their property to go to another property, and they won't hold that against us. Yeah. But, yeah, his sister's pregnant with the cousin.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Who gets impaled by the vagina cocoon. And no, I'm not making that up either.
He's not. He really isn't.
Yeah, that's another thing. Oh my god. Did they really need to change the gestation period? Or at least the morphing period? Because I was fine with them just shedding their skin, molting when they grow.
And now they have to be like a butterfly. Thanks, Brad Dorff.
You are a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. Oh, that's right. Definitely watch Resurrection for Brad Dorff. Mr. Makeout with a Xeno. Oh, I can watch that scene over and over again and not be disgusted by it, just laugh at him because it's Brad Dorff, okay? It's Brad Dorff. He's gonna do some freaking weird shit in a movie. And you can't ask no less from him. Those who don't know, you youngins, Brad Dorff is Chucky, the voice of Chucky. But yeah, so nothing else to say. Or no, midnight now. Might as well wrap it up.
Very late over here on my end. Yeah, so I gotta go.
But Well, we can at least highlight one last comment, and this one is from Buddy again. It goes back to the Alien 3 scripts where the studio wanted the aliens to come faster, fully grown.
I would have been okay with that. They were never
We'll talk
consistent.
about the comics some other time.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the We'll talk about those in the trill stream. That's what we relegate the extra stuff for from now on. Just chill streams. But yeah, definitely. For those who are new to this, definitely check out the first Alien. It's a very slow burn and a masterclass in horror fiction, sci-fi horror fiction. Definitely will scare the pants out you. You know, the fact of the matter is that they re-released it in theaters and people experiencing the the chest bursting scene for the first time said a lot. I'm sure it shocked Final, even though he's seen it from a different media.
But it didn't sing.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime girl.
I mean, the fact that Spaceballs and Mel Brooks actually got John Hurt to reprise his role again in that parody of that iconic scene from Alien, definitely says a lot.
Best joke. Oh no, not again.
Yep.
You'd be also surprised that for those youngins don't know, you have seen another member of the Nostromo crew in the Avengers.
That is true.
Brett was in the Avengers. He spoke to Bruce Banner after he crashed into a train station.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Sadly, I believe he passed away 2 years after that movie released, or some years after.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of the Nostromo crew. I think Veronica Cartwright is still around.
Yes.
We have lost
Yes.
John Hurt. John Hurt was Kane, of course. He was the first victim of the first movie. Start with him. Later, Ian Holm. Well, before those guys, there was Yafet. Is Dallas still alive?
Yes, Tom Skerritt's still alive.
Okay,
Mhm.
we still
Yeah.
got Tom Skerritt. Yeah, the chess versus scene wasn't scripted. We talked about that earlier. Paperback Queen. That everybody was shocked by that. Like I said, Ridley Scott did some dubious shit on the set. I mean, yeah, I think Stanley Kubrick was a terrible man behind the set. Ridley Scott.
Shoot. No, even Kubrick would balk at even he will balk out at the method directing from Ridley.
I don't know. Shelley Duvall just never recovered.
Yeah, I mean, Ridley Scott's not that capable of that. I mean, Kubrick makes him more of a dim mother than anything else. Like Kubrick, on the other hand, Jesus Christ, Kubrick.
Oh man, one of these days we could do a retrospective on the guy.
Yeah.
He's fat.
Besides that,
But so yeah, the last remaining crew members that are still with us is Weaver, Cartwright, Dallas,
Tom Skerritt.
and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of the Sulaco, I think everybody's still around except for Paxton.
yeah,
Might
may he
be.
rest in peace.
Wait, who else died from the Sulaco crew?
I do not know.
Because Newt's still around.
Yeah.
Thank
Carrie
God.
Ann's still alive. I don't know. You don't really hear about that. If they did, it was just one of those small mentions because the only one that was a big notable one was Bill Paxton.
Yeah. Bishop is still around.
Yeah, Lance Hendricks is still around. Although, some pictures float up around about him recently. He looks way worse than usual. So
Knock on
I'm not
wood.
saying
Knock
I'm
on
not
wood.
hoping he is, but it doesn't look like it's that far off.
Sure, Frost is still around.
Well, we know
And Michael Bean is still with us. But
Yeah,
I hear
as
he's
still
well
angry.
as Burke and Vasquez Goldstein.
Yeah, go. That lady aged really well. Ooh
Hmm.
la la. I love them when they're well aged. Anyways,
Well, she's the T2. I mean, she's the T1000. So yeah.
one of these days we got a Clockwork Orange final for the Terminator movies.
Come
I've already seen
on.
the first two.
No shit, you still gotta see the third one.
Yeah, not interested.
No
I might
fucking
have to
way.
agree with him on this. It's
Well, at least stick around for Salvation, the only good one out of the later films.
now if we
Yeah.
want to talk Sarah Connor Chronicles, maybe we could do that.
Ooh.
Hell
Now
yeah,
that would actually be fun.
bro. Remember my experience watching that series, just being on edge of where it was going.
Right? It is such a disappointment that show like got the axe before it can even like be renewed for another season.
Of course, we also got to talk about the anime that recently came out too.
Yeah.
On the mix on that one, kinda. It's got
Waifu
some good.
roids can save the world.
We brought Evie from Evie from no Vicky from iRobot to save us from Skynet. We just had to give her a convincing argument.
Wait, Vic. Okay, I'm confused because when you said Vicky from iRobot to save Skynet, I ended up thinking of Vicky, Timmy's evil babysitter from Fairly Odd.
Icky Vicky.
No, a different Vicky.
Icky Vicky.
No, it's a confusing thing called Kokoro that's a singular thing, but it's got like 3 different personalities that need to be fused into one through some weird psychomoral babbling to stop
I'm
Skynet.
gonna be honest. That part lost me.
And then the twist at the end, like, no, Skynet did not send me. It was you, the sun. Wait, what?
What exactly?
Because you achieved
good
peace with
question.
Skynet. And
She
now
Anyway.
your father.
was Skynet.
Yeah.
Anyways, like thank everybody for being here. Those 6 of you now, and those 9 motherfuckers keep popping out. Oh, thank you for always joining in. Though we were, it was fluctuating between 10 and 8. So I guess people got off of work tonight. Finally, I guess, I don't know. But thank you guys for tolerating us, or at least bearing with us, talking briefly or a good length about these movies, about the Alien franchise. Mine's a few of them. I mean, if you want us to talk about the ones really Scott directed later on, I mean, we could rip on a new one if you like. Type in the comments if you want to, or maybe I'll just put in a post maybe.
Not
Tell
interested.
you guys. Well, you're along for the ride anyways, and you get to hear me say fuck you to really Scott if they
In
already
multiple
know.
ways.
We'll provide the fingering and blowing for you.
Vom
Abs-
Chico Wow Wow.
Oh my
No, because
God.
I'm not interested in Ridley Scott's films after or not. Wait, he didn't direct Aliens.
Who said you gotta watch them? You can hear me bitch about them.
And I ain't gonna be here.
I mean, if you want a good laugh, I'm trying to bait you in with a good laugh. Because your rib cage almost caved in when I went on my long tirade of
Yes.
Alien Covenant during a Batman stream of all things.
Right.
That never got old.
For those who don't know, just check out the video yelling about Alien Covenant. You'll get the
Yeah,
picture.
all stemming from asking that could Christian Bale play King Arthur, and said, why not? He was Moses in a Lord of the Rings style Exodus, and then that somehow devolved into that.
Yeah, Exodus Gods and Kings, that one movie that me and the wife watched out of curiosity. And that was back when I actually did like Ridley Scott. Back then, I didn't hate him that much. Oh boy, I was excited for him to come back to Alien 2.
Everyone was.
I was excited for him to try Alien again, and I was hoping that Prometheus was going to be just a thing that was separate from the Alien franchise, from the Alien universe, and he just had to tie it into it. And I think he did it out of spite because he wanted to go with Prometheus and everybody wanted to go back to Alien. He's like, fine, I'll fucking go back to Alien, but I'm gonna fucking put Prometheus in it.
But at least he cut out the weirdness of AVP.
True.
Or at
They were
least
trying to
attempted
push,
to.
though. The Sixth Ranger, Dark Stranger.
This is Stranger, last survivor of the Butt Holyoke, signing off.
The SDF, man. The SDF one. The ship that can eat a Star Destroyer for breakfast. And y'all know I'm not lying. The lovely Leia Valor, Leia Plus Size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely Lady of Valor. And thank you for sticking with us for this discussion, this very lively discussion of the Alien franchise. If you have a favorite movie in this franchise, please leave it in the comments below. I am sure Wolf would love to hear from you, what you think of it, which one's your favorites, which weren't your favorites. Do you have a favorite character? Leave it in the comments below. We would love to hear for that. Until then, everybody have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.
With more deep throats.
Here in the
Good
background,
Lord.
mostly the humble survivors, Humble Marty.
Hello, this is Humble Marty signing off. Thank you for listening to our talk about aliens that have extra mouths, kind of like eels. So have a nice day, night, or whatever time it is in your neck of the woods.
We didn't really need to go into greater detail about the Xeno. Anyways, everybody knows the Xeno. Xeno is it's an iconic design. It's not hard. It's not that hard to miss.
More mouths than one, so they have multiple holes that need filling.
Right.
Well, in an eel's case, they have an extra jaw in their jaw to help swallow food.
So they swallow good. Well, that's good.
Well, if you don't want your hot dog back, that's for sure.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends, and make sure you ring that notification bell, that way you get notified of our latest videos. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off, and remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
Last but not least, the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in tonight's live stream. And make sure you stay tuned for this Thursday's episode of Real Millennials, because we're going to be talking about religion and spirituality. So that'll be fun.
Sweet.
So until then, this is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell, signing off. And remember, cynicism and nihilism are for losers. So keep up the good fight and keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world.
This is your Commander Will Tan, remind you guys once again that you are the UN Space Sea. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?